Hello and welcome back to Out of the Box, or should I say aloha, and welcome to our ohana here on Hotfix. This is going to be episode 2 of Out of the Box. My name is the T-Tree and my pronouns are they, he. Tonight we have but one show for you, run for you rather, but it's going to be quite the show. Froob and his commentator Big Nono will take us through many islands across the state of Hawaii and beyond in Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So, without further ado, Yakuza!
Yeah, hello. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. You'll probably hear that I'm a bit weirder than usual. Like, don't worry, I haven't gotten more British. I'm very, very sick right now. Thankfully...
Weird in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, as you can hear, I have an absolutely amazing co-commentator with me. They are the current world record holder for this game and the person I have stolen the route from. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello, I'm Big Nono. I speedrun various Yakuza games, including this one, because I thought that would be a good idea for some reason.
Yeah, it's a good game. We'll both talk during this about how much we enjoy the game.
It actually is very good, yes.
Yeah, it's a relatively longer one in terms of more recent RGGs, but I guess it's actually not if you consider Infinite Wealth. But yeah, we'll be here for a little while, so we're gonna go. We're gonna be doing the run on beginner like per usual with these games. Don't make the mistake that means it's gonna be an easy run, because there's a couple of fights, especially early on, that can legitimately kill you in 2 hits. So we got some shenanigans coming up. So if you're ready, we're gonna start time in 3, 2, 1, go.
Very good. Well, yeah, as you both alluded to, this show, if anyone out there does not know, is about runs that are easy to pick up and get into. The kind of elevator what you see, you can get the game and start doing it yourself. So we'd love to talk a little bit about routing. Obviously, both of you mentioned that you're involved in that, or at least Nono is and Froob is. There's definitely an art to taking a route and putting in the hours to improve on it or find a version of it that works for you. So
yes. So just to start off quickly, this is Keith. You'll see him a good couple of times. He's the frustrating pain in the backside. It's actually a very good start. Why can't I get this one going for PBs? Enemies love to block in this game, but essentially with Keith, for example, we want to be able to get him in an almost full combo. I should have probably launched him for this combo here, but it's fine. You noticed at the end of that fight, I did something new we like to call jumping. You can jump in this game compared to other RGG games, which is on the same button as run, which is a pain in the backside, because as you'll see, every so often I will accidentally jump instead of doing runs and stuff like that. But Najima, this is his very first basic actual style. This is his traditional Mad Dog style. He will get access to another style a bit later on. Alvarez in this fight actually has a little bit more HP than every other enemy. That's why I'm just kind of trying to hit him as well with the majority of that combo. I kind of spread the enemy a bit too far away there, but it's fine. No one needs to know that.
Honestly, those were actually pretty decent tutorials. The tutorials, the first 2 fights in this game, they can be very annoying because this is early on. We don't have a lot of tools to work with yet to deal with, especially enemies blocking, like Froob said and like we saw. Enemies can block, and enemies can be very persistent in blocking. They will just block forever and ever, and there is really not a time-efficient way of breaking blocks this early on, so yeah, it is a rough start, but we get a lot more ways of dealing with enemies as the run goes on.
In this bit, you're probably going to notice that I'm actually going a bit slower here. There's a weird thing that can happen with this game with the next NPC we speak to, where if you speak to him too fast and try and skip his dialogue, the game will literally cause him to still be there, but not talkable to. This is something that can happen with boars as well. We don't know why this is happening, but it's a very small bug that requires us to save load to be able to get back into the action, which we're just going to go a little slower because obviously, kind of marathon showcase. Say hello to Keith again. Again, you're going to see him a lot.
Hi again, Keith.
So we deal with him in a very nice way. We actually have the money now to get a small attack boost, which will take care of all the enemies in one hit with this barrel. And then we're going to deal with Keith, which I'm going to just go here and hopefully get the both of them. That's a shame. He won't guard, at least because he's attacking me. So that's not the worst. That's fine.
Yeah, but
the idea there is you want to take care of Keith.
Yeah, the game quickly gets you into having items available to you because I imagine that'll be indispensable for groups throughout the game.
Yes.
So you'd think that once we get better tools, we don't use weapons quite as much, but they still feature quite a bit, especially in these early parts where we don't have the gun yet, we don't have a lot of other things to use. There are definitely Yakuza games where you see a lot more weapon usage. Like Kiwami 2, that entire run is just picking up weapons and using them like that.
K2's weapon-based route is fun. I'd say it's more fun than playing the game normally. A little biased with that, though.
Yes, absolutely.
We were hearing some opinions about Yakuza, nay, Like a Dragon games while we were getting ready for the stream.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if Rube agrees. I really think this is the first time they got brawler combat down in the Dragon Engine. Like, obviously, some of the newer mainline games have been JRPGs. They've been turn-based. For the real-time combat ones, this is, like, by far the best one, I think. It's a really fun combat system.
I would go a bit further back and say either Judgment or Lost Judgment, but I would agree that it's been a long time since they've gotten, like, brawler combat good. Like, this game is very Gaiden blueprinted in its design, but it works a lot better together than Gaiden does with its, like, two different fighting styles. Don't worry about me, I'm just making a hearty stew because I'm obviously feeling sick.
And the nice thing here... Yeah, the nice thing here is that most of these button prompts are predetermined, but you have to wait for the last one because it has like 3 options. It's like 4 X's, 2 X's, 2 squares, or alternating 5.
Yeah, that one's been catching me out a lot. Also, you will have seen me like not do my menu for the save load as quick. Speaking of technical difficulties with this game, as we've all been finding out very recently with the newest patch, if you save load too quickly, the game crashes. No idea why. Came to the backside.
It's like you're saving and the game hasn't fully finished saving, but you're trying to load and the game just doesn't know what to do and it's just...
Yep.
Hopefully something that can be routed back in
oh no.
That somehow didn't use up the durability of the drum.
I mean, that's good. But yeah, that's unfortunate that that can happen sometimes. Dragon Engine shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll be saying that a lot today.
Yeah, this is another reason why you don't want to over-rely on the big weapons when you don't have to. Because the Dragon Engine, bless its heart, it's trying, but things will just fall apart spontaneously. It's going through a lot, the Dragon Engine.
Yep. It is pretty old at this point.
You also see Froob is doing some movement here to avoid fight spawns. This game's fight spawns are nasty. There's a lot of... Older Yakuza games actually have a lot of quality of life features that make fight spawns a lot easier to deal with. And in this game, they just decided to take away all of them. So fight spawns are very, very annoying, and the only really reliable way of getting rid of them is through saving and loading, which costs like 3 to 4 seconds a pop, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that time does pile on if you run into a lot of them.
Yeah, there's 2 maps in particular in this game that really suck for fight spawns. This is one of them.
Yes.
Both like very small areas, unfortunately. And yes, we do have a pet tiger, for those who are wondering.
Yep, his name is Goro. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
I love Goro. He's my perfect son. He's the most important thing in the world. Love Goro.
He's a good boy. I'll tell you who isn't a good boy that we are now fighting for the 4th time, and we're already in Chapter 1. This is Keith. You may have seen him before.
Hi, Keith.
Keith is very easy to deal with because we just have a collection of barrels. So hit him twice, wait for his power up, which he's supposed to be invulnerable during. It's the old RGG thing that started back in Judgment, where before they do a deadly attack, they're supposed to be invulnerable. If you can hit them with a heat attack, you just do damage. Now, much like Lost Judgment, you do have to do the tutorial here to like finish him off. You can very rarely with the Dragon Engine sometimes have that not think it's applied, and then you just have to do it again. So it's a pain in the backside, unfortunately.
And here we're actually going to run into, the Shadow Clones, which I think, Fruit, correct me if I'm wrong, were these introduced in Yakuza 5?
Yes.
Yeah, so turns out Majima can just create Shadow Clones of himself. Don't worry about it. They are really good. A lot of AI partners in this game can be very kind of passive a lot of the time. Not the Shadow Clones. The Shadow Clones are hard for blood. We're very limited in how often we can use them, but when we can, they are very good.
Yeah, you saw that.
Who else could be as aggressive as Majima? But Majima himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, But you saw there, I was just in the middle of the sky and one of my doppelgangers just bailed me out there. We pick up $50 off the deck of the ship so we can get an attack upgrade so we can defeat Masaru. Masaru has a lot of hyper armor, so we dodge behind him to be able to get off the full combo, and then just don't get hit again to push him to mid phase. This is XQTE. Usually you can just mash. There's a good couple of QTEs in this game. Some are quicker to fail, some are quicker to pass. And then there's like one later on that's like a bit quicker to fail that we do because you get half heat back whenever you do this. We ideally don't want to do a heat action in this fight because we want to save it for the next fight.
And you're going to see Froob attack Masaru during this animation just to pile on some of the damage and then do that. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the timing on the counters can be kind of finicky.
Oh, you dodged.
He is being very, very, very badly behaved.
Yeah, I think the deadly attack was my fault. I dodged too early. Just like a second too early. Up a Jack.
But yeah, Jack, man, what to say about this guy except I think this is one of the worst fights in the run. I don't know.
His hyper armor is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. He's just hyper armoring through all my attacks right now. I didn't mean to jump there, but that actually kind of works out. He's like 2 hits away from like phase 2. How do you just gun me?
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, he's terrible. So what they did with gun enemies in Gaiden is they have very little HP, but they're very mobile. And what they decided to do, let's take away that. Let's just make them very, very mobile and, you know, have a bunch of bosses that have guns. That's Jack's moveset in this game. It's really annoying to deal with, especially this early on. So this fight can be a big...
Action. Oh, come on, game.
This is unfortunate. Because
I got that counter, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll take it.
That works. So the unfortunate thing is Majima's, especially early on, Majima's heat moves are very contextual. You have to be behind an enemy to use his default heat move. And it can take a while to get there, especially with Jack.
Yep.
And sometimes even when you're behind him, the game's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, these fights here represent Majima getting a ship to get off of the island that he was shipwrecked on at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. It should be. We had some people asking for a little bit of spoiler-free description of what's going on in the run so far.
Yeah, as part of the other spoiler-free stuff, Majima currently has amnesia. That's important. He doesn't know who he is, but he is Majima Goro.
Doesn't know who he is. He does know he can create shadow clones of himself, though. Which...
And I think he had a few flashbacks of his time in Kamurocho. He remembers that Kamurocho exists and that he was probably doing bad stuff when he was there.
Yeah, he says something in one of the earlier cutscenes about how he doesn't think he's a good person.
Yeah, but here he is helping out the locals, including the son of a local bar owner.
But this is another one of those fights where the barrels come in very, very handy. So Froob is going to use an old trick where during the animation of the weapon, like when Majima is revving, oh, that was very good. A one-hitter. That's great. But yeah, a lot of the time you'll see menus getting done during these animations because you can't do anything during the animation of the swing anyway, so it's a good time to go into the menu, get upgrades, use items, etc. You also saw Froob buy some booze and drink it, because that's just how we roll. They're just going to be in the way, aren't they? That's another very nasty fight spawn. But yeah, being drunk in this game makes your heat go up quicker, which is very important because, again, heat moves are very good and we're going to be wanting to use a lot of them. So drinking is very important here.
Hoping that I don't get Dragon Engine shenanigans here. This is not a hard fight, but it's so easy to mess up. Oh, God, Eva. Oh, I hate you. Come on, Jason.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, as long as he only guards one attack, you're fine. Ideally, you don't want him to guard at all because obviously, you know, that stops you from doing the damage and it's slower to get to this phase. We're doing the QT again to get half our heat back, and then Jason's gonna pontificate for a little bit and we're gonna be able to get 2-3 hits on him. That's why you don't want the barrel to break in the first part of this fight because we need the second barrel right there to be able to hit him quick. They respawn my barrel.
Oh, you actually got refunded a barrel. Nice. Yeah, sometimes the game does that. Sometimes it just spawns another barrel for whatever reason. That was a good fight.
Yep.
That was textbook.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
But as Froob explained earlier, it didn't apply in the Keith fight because that was a tutorial on deadly moves, or I forget what they were called in this game.
Deadly attacks, I think.
The mechanic is, yeah, exactly. The mechanic has been around since Lost Judgment, but they keep changing the name. But yeah. Generally, with heat moves, like Froob said, you can cancel out the animation, and if their health is low enough, the heat move will also finish the fight, so it's very nice. Here's a tutorial we can't skip. This is a tutorial about boat movement and or boat combat. And it's interesting, you have machine guns, you have cannons, we'll see a lot of boat combat in this run. But yeah, basically the game just takes you through the basic controls, and at the end here, at the end of the tutorial, Froob is going to start shooting at Jack's ship here and just whittle down the health. And now we're going into another Jack fight, because we've said you'll see a lot of Keith. You'll also see a bunch of Jack, unfortunately. Even more unfortunate, I think, arguably, than Keith.
Yeah, I think he's
ship section
more annoying than
that
Keith.
ship section reminded me of Assassin's Creed 4, but if everything about it ran at like 300% speed.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was about to say, oh, I recognize this one.
Is going after Keith.
And then the front cannons fired off, and it was just absolutely machine gun fire.
But you'll see Froob actually disengage. That's because at half health, Jack gets into an HP gate, which is a mechanic that we probably should have explained. A lot of enemies in this game, a lot of bosses, have several phases, and each phase has an HP gate, which is an HP value you can't go under until the next phase kicks in. So you get Jack to half health, which is his first HP gate, and then you let him do his thing, and then you come back when he's in his next phase, and you whittle down the other half. At this point, we're also introduced to our second fighting style in this game, which is Sea Dog. Sea Dog doesn't have as good DPS against single enemies as our default fighting style is Mad Dog, but it does have really, really good damage against big groups of enemies, which, as you can see, is what we're facing here. So you're going to see Froob switch a lot between these two styles, depending on who is fighting at the moment. Also, a really nice thing about Mad Dog is that it kind of magnetizes into enemies. Like, if you do some light attacks, then Majima will close the distance if you're fairly close to an enemy. So yeah, that's really nice about this game, because we have a lot of Yakuza runs where one of the fighting styles is really not useful for the run because it's not strong enough. This is a game where both fighting styles are really, like, they have a lot of uses, and it feels very good to like go back and forth.
So this is your ship traversal stuff. Don't worry about the thing we just picked up, that's fine. What we're going to be doing is using the boost every so often. The yellow boxes are replenishing our boost, and the boost rings are basically pushing us to max speed anyway. It took me a while to realize there's actually a speedometer at the bottom right. I didn't even realize that existed until the other day.
Oh, that's right. I just realized that right now.
Right?
Imagine looking at the UI when you're playing a video game.
It's the age-old argument about how many UI elements is too many, especially when we were just alluding to Ubisoft games earlier with Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I feel like in that case, you can tell just as easily from the wind whistling sound effect and the visual effects on screen.
Yeah, also, right here, this is your tutorial about during boat battles, you can sometimes have crewmates get knocked down, and you'll have to bring them back up. This will not be relevant in any way during this run because it just isn't a mechanic that gets triggered as often on beginner. On pro runs, that's maybe something you need to worry about a lot more. So coming up here, we're actually going to get introduced to another aspect of I would say, the sea exploration in this game, which is going on treasure islands. There are a lot of islands here where you can go down, have some combats, get some treasure. It's cool stuff. And this is our first taste of that. So as you see, Froob is using Sea Dog to start out here. As you can see, the attacks in Sea Dog have a really wide arc to them, so you can get like 2, 3, even more enemies if they're grouped up enough at the same time, which is really nice. Also gonna pick up some money here just to have some extra scratch for the early game.
I really need to put on auto run in the options. I've been saying that for fucking days at this point. Excuse my language.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to remind you of that, sorry. Oh no, that's very unfortunate. Yeah, if you
lose the durability there. I want to aim for Camden here. Camden he's the only person here that's like a problem because he has like a deadly attack. I don't know why that cancels out my combo. No, my controller is slightly broken, but not the square button even. That's my fault.
Yeah, and the thing, and the thing with deadly attacks, it's also worth pointing out, enemies will be locked to 1 HP as long as they're in their deadly attack animation. So if an enemy starts a deadly attack and you don't stop in time with a heat move, it's a huge time loss a lot of the time.
Yeah. Anyway, hey bear.
Yeah, it's a bear. Don't worry about it.
It's just a bear. Give me the glitch. That'd be so amazing right now.
Completely serious crime drama. There's a glitch here we call Abyss Bear, where sometimes, believe it or not, the bear here can just clip through the floor and just fall all the way down. And if you get it early on, it's a really, really nice time save. He does not appear to want to fall down. He appears to want to lose us a lot of time.
One, I'm surprised he didn't hit me when I jumped in the sky, and two, I'm surprised he dodged my barrel.
Yeah. One thing to notice here is a lot of the time, during the swing animations, even though we got attacked by the bear, we don't get knocked away. You have a lot of hyper armor during the animation of the weapon, of the heavy swing, so that's also something that's going to get used a lot. Unfortunately, this is a very luck-based fight, I would say. Like, the bear is one of the most RNG heavy points in the run, because if you just happen to get hit by an attack when your hyper armor is down, when you're not in the animation, you just get knocked down, and there's really not much you can do about that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. One thing we should mention as well, the boosting stuff, there is a boost meter at the top left. It is the green one, and then you can see 0 of 2. They get refilled every time we go into a safe area like this, which is really nice. The yellow boxes also refill it, but like as long as you have like, you know, a number there, you can use your extra fuel to be able to like boost again. Sorry, come here. He always runs away here. Man doesn't want his fast.
Yeah, this is another mechanic that's just not going to be relevant. The morale system. You can give crewmates items to increase their experience morale. It's not something we're ever going to work with. But yeah, like Froob said, we have a free boost that's keyed to your to the green bar on the top left, and then you have extra boosts you can use. And then there's these gates, these blue arcs, which every time you go under them, you get boosted, and that's actually a faster boost than the one from your ship. So we use those pretty much anytime they're around. Even when they veer off into... Oh yeah, I shouldn't have spoken over that. That's so, like we said, saving and loading gets you out of fights in this game. So if you know the right distance, you can save and load when you're close to a boat fight and just completely skip it. Which is nice. It saves a lot of time that we would have spent trying to fight these guys or running away from them.
Well, Chad, we may not be using the morale boost mechanic, but if you need a morale boost, you could join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix Enjoyer role when you get there, so you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with the staff, and more. Use !Discord in the Twitch chat for more information about that. We've got a question coming out of the chat, speaking of, who was asking, at this point in how routed out the game is, what would you say the average variance between like a really good run and an average or even a bad run can be? Is it talking in terms of like a handful of minutes, or?
I'd say not that much, probably like 2-3 minutes. It depends, because like we're going to do a lot of resets, especially in Chapter 1, because Chapter 1 is like kind of terrible to get out of. But once you get past Chapter 1, like, there's a good couple of fights later on that have a bit of variance, but I wouldn't say like a massive amount. Usually most fights, like, even if they don't go your way, there are ways to like pull it back a little bit at the very least. But yeah, you'll see later on, when we get to like chapters 4 and 5, when we have like the longer set pieces with like more enemies, you'll see some things like start to go wrong, and we'll just have to, you know, react to basically how fights go. It's usually a common thing in like any Yakuza run of just something is like there are ways that we want the fight to go, and more often than not, the fight is not going to go perfectly. So we have like multiple ways in mind going into a fight of, okay, if this happens, we can do this instead, and stuff like that.
Okay, so you'd say routing for like a Dragon game, especially modern stuff in Dragon Engine with its jank, can come down to controlling the variation and getting things as consistent as they reasonably can be.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because like one of the runs that both me and Big Nono do is like Kiwami 2, which that run is really fast, it's really fun, and it's like it doesn't have that much in terms of like how in terms of how things are supposed to go wrong, but there's like a couple of fights where like something will just go a little bit wrong, or like if like because K2 is a very weapon-based route, this fight's not going well, sorry, I need to concentrate a little bit. If a fight's not going well, then we have to like rectify that by like using different weapons or making sure our weapons are, you know, like properly synced up. This guy is just hiding in the corner.
Or I would say, or even in cases of trying to leash an enemy to get them into a situation where you can attack multiple enemies at a time.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised to hear that a game like this, especially games that rely mostly on brawling, come down to like one part routing and like knowing where your tools are in a fight, whether that be on your character with your different fighting styles or somewhere in the arena, and at least one, maybe even two parts adjusting for the kinds of things that could happen just mid-fight.
Yeah. I don't know if it was...
Yeah, and K2... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if it was Big Nono who came up with this first. I think it was when we were talking about, like, K2 originally. Like, Yakuza runs are very easy to approach, but to be good at, like, Yakuza runs, you do need to put a lot of time, effort, and skill into it. Like, it's some of those that you can, like, easily approach, but to get, like, a very, very good time, you do need to, like understand, like, some of the nuances of, like, especially, like, the different engines as well. Like, especially, like, some of the weird things that can happen in the Dragon engine, and, like, how a little bit more sturdy the older engine is, but, like, less, like, slight freedom of movement you have in that, for example. Like, you get used to it when you do, like, multiple runs, but it's one of those things. It's, like, it's very satisfying to do multiple runs, because you will see the improvement.
Yeah, it's something you see a lot in K2, but also in this game, because in K2 especially, the boss fights are kind of trivial because you just use big weapons on everything. But then getting the group fights, like right here, getting a fight like this consistent is about knowing how to mitigate bad enemy positioning. Because you can see right here, these guys aren't really playing along too well. They're kind of walking around. They're not grouping up properly. And Fruit just has to do things like switch styles or use that cutlass boomerang move to mitigate for it. So it's just really interesting to get to the point where you understand the combat system well enough to know what the tools you have to do this at any given point.
A bit better at the end of that fight. Not too great at the start. Yeah, I dislike fighting the Palicana enemies in this game because, as you saw from the first fight and that fight, the Palicana enemies in this game really like to back away from you. Like, it's kind of funny because, like, in Yakuza 6 is, like, one of my favorite runs, and it's very similar there in that the normal Yakuza mobs will actually, like, guard a lot, but the Sayo Triad mobs will actually dodge a lot. So, like, even different, like, enemy sets in, like, that game and this game, for example, they can all, like, act a little bit differently, and you have to, like, know how to deal with them, for example.
And you know what's funny I noticed about the Palicana in this game is the Palicana originally appeared in Yakuza 8 in Infinite Wealth. And in that game, you know, it's a turn-based game, so they just kind of walk around left to right. And they have the exact same movement in this game, even though this is real-time combat. And I actually think that's really interesting, like, to bring that kind of movement into a game with a very different combat system.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Palicana guys are annoying because they also have big swords, so they will block a lot, they can knock you down. These guys aren't nearly as difficult to deal with because they're very susceptible to just big combos with Sea Dog.
And they give us $200, which is really nice of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so right here, this is our first visit to Midlantis, which, yeah, is the name they went with. This is your Coliseum area for this game. This is like the equivalent of the castle from Gaiden. And there's a lot of interesting things that the NPCs say when you walk around here.
Yeah. Now, I know
we haven't seen in a moment.
Oh, I think it's everyone's fan favorite.
Keith, yes. Oh my God.
Good. I was beginning to wonder where Keith got off to.
Yeah, welcome back, bestie.
I was going to hit him with a chair. We missed him that much. Sit down, Keith.
Yep.
We wish he would sit down. One thing to know about this fight, Keith can kill you in 2 hits.
This is one of the ones you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, this is actually, in any percent, this is a fairly big reset point, because if you're not careful, this man will just destroy you. But yeah, what Frug did there is he started the fight with a heat move on Keith, and now he was building heat off of his ads. Now, you'll see here we hit the HP gate, and like we said earlier, deadly attack, we counter that with another heat move, and now just finish him off with regular attacks. But it's really important to know where the HP gates are, because otherwise you'll be doing a heat move and you'll see it barely do any damage because you were like very close to the HP gate, so you don't want to waste heat move damage like that.
I got very lucky that he didn't do his deadly attack though.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, heat moves, they do good damage, but also they are slow, most of them at least. So you really want to be, judicious in when you use them. Only use them when they're actually necessary.
Yeah, there's a lot of the heat moves in this game, like, they're all, like, some of them are pretty good damage, but they're all very long in their animations. Like, especially, like, the multi-enemy hitting ones. It's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, the only real exceptions is that there's a wall heat move where Majima uses his dagger. That one's pretty quick, and the barrel, the big weapon one, is pretty quick. Other than that, they're all very slow. And we get to fight pirates again. So this is like halfway between the Palakana fight and the other fight we saw earlier. These guys do have swords, so they can be kind of annoying. This is also where we've seen gun enemies already, but they can be very, very annoying here. There's one enemy with a bit more HP. He is very dangerous because he can also knock you down. Yeah,
not what I was after, but it was.
Yeah, that guy usually want to heat move him just because he's very dangerous and very annoying, but he was just lying down, so yeah, regular attacks worked.
I was hoping to be on his feet so I could have just done the heat attack, but yeah, that works.
If you say regular attacks, I suppose when you consider the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series as a whole, hitting someone with a cherry is actually one of the most regular attacks compared to the kinds of things they get up to.
Well, normal is when you hit someone with a bike. Chairs are a bit more exotic.
Yes, exactly.
Like, we joke about this, but like everyone always jokes about, we like use bikes, etc., etc. Bikes are literally some of the best, like, actual weapons you can use, no matter the game. No, that's definitely number 5. I've been counting the superb components we've been picking up just quickly, by the way. We're going to be doing some item stuff later on where we need specific materials, and we need at least 5 superb components, so I've already got those, which is fantastic.
Nice.
But yeah, two-handed weapons are always the weapons that are, like, amazing in these games. And yeah, again, in this game, like, just two-handed weapons, like your bikes, your barrels and stuff. Jason for not breaking my paddles. A bit worried about that.
Jason is actually pretty good in his game. Like, he's a good AI partner. He'll do some work. Masaru, not so much. Masaru kind of just sits there and does his big glowy attack, which doesn't do anything. See, he's just like...
Yup.
He's just sitting there.
Oh, I broke my paddle.
The pedal broke. That's unfortunate.
It's gonna be a slow one now.
You wanna get the pedal into this fight so you can heat move the main guy here, but yeah, unfortunately, we do not have it. But yeah, this is another one of those Treasure Island fights. Yeah, the juggle could work here. Yeah. Mostly, this guy is a mini-boss, so he has a deadly attack.
I'm getting Dragon Engine.
Yeah, that was amazing. Oh, no. Well, that's unfortunate. And you saw right there, that should have gone through, I think. I think that was a Dragon Engine moment. I'm going to blame that one on the game.
Yeah. The juggle didn't work because he was slightly sloped on the pillar, and then I was kind of hoping the boys would have dealt with the last enemy, but clearly they didn't. So, thanks, boys.
And yeah, here's a conspicuously named character, Captain B.
This is Doppelganger, my dude. You know this at this point.
And as you can see, he's got a gun. This is actually where in the run we get our own gun. The gun in this game is very, very good. It's got, especially when you upgrade it, it can hit a very wide arc of enemies. Does a lot of damage, good for enemies that are far away. We love the gun.
Yes, the gun is amazing. The gun is really good. We're actually going to be getting a upgrade for it later on to do more damage and hit like in a bit more of an AoE, which is really nice.
And this is actually one of those tools we were talking earlier about how you can mitigate the problem of enemies blocking. The gun ignores blocking, so that's one big way where blocking becomes significantly less annoying when you get deeper into the run.
Yeah, we're going to have enemies with shields later on, and the gun also goes through those shields as well. It probably shouldn't, but it does.
I'm not going to lie, I'm actually quite impressed at how non-durable Majima is with the default health, even on beginner. It's almost kind of like they balanced you around the same way you were describing enemies who have guns, nimble, but rather than having a ton of health.
Yeah, that's kind of true. This game is based on that, and also based on a lot of large-scale combat, which we'll see more and more of in the rest of the run.
It's funny because if anyone has seen Gaiden's like speedrun, in Gaiden's speedrun, we very much drop our defense with the use of equipment. We haven't done that at all yet in this game. So with this game and me like getting almost demolished by like most fights here, that's not because of the equipment shenanigans. They just hit that hard.
Right.
Like,
you could
it's
hypothetically
surprising.
put yourself into one hit potential in some of these fights, I take it. If you
I'm not
further debuff
kidding.
your defense.
I wasn't kidding when I said Keith can two-shot you. Like, I am genuinely afraid of that fight.
Yeah. And also, someone asked in chat earlier about the variation in run times. I had to run one of my first runs of this game.
Oh, yeah.
I got to the final boss, to his last phase, and to those who play the game, there's a lot of like long animations and QTE sequences in that fight. I got to the last phase, I made one wrong move, and I got one shot, and I had to do the whole thing again. 2-minute time loss.
Yep. There are some very scary fights in this, and it's through no fault of us actually, like, you know, trying to, like, say, lower our defense. There's a lot of good, like, Yakuza runs that are kind of a little on the sadistic side because we do just drop our defense with equipment. We are going to do that a little bit with this later on, but not to the degree of some of them. Like with K2, for example, the very old version of that route, we used to drop our defense by like, I think it's like 20-30. And like, even that's enough for like a specific fight in chapter 12, which Big No-No knows how bad that fight is. It's the good old Tigers. That fight can one-shot you, with its charge, or used to be able to. Yakuza 6, we used to drop our defense by a flat 50, which is literally half your defense, which meant the endgame bosses could just one-shot you. Like, a lot of Yakuza runs, even on like beginner, are very hard. Are very, very hard. Like, you have to be like paying attention.
The thing to understand about Yakuza speedrunners is we're very how to put this. We're very stupid. and we see an item in the game.
You could say that's your way to describe it.
we see an item in the game that's like, oh, this gives you an attack boost, but your defense goes way down. And
It's
we're like,
fine. We don't need the other stats. Attack number go up. That's good.
Yep.
just don't get hit, forehead.
Right. It is usually the case that the best attacking items in these games over the past like couple of games have been the ones that drop your defense. Like, it was definitely the case with Gaiden with the bloody ring, the bloody Fundoshi as well. So this one there is no bloody equipment.
No, the only thing you really, the ring we're about to get like a bit later in this chapter. Yes. I think it lowers your defense. It also makes enemies. We'll talk about that. When we get to it.
It's a fun ring.
Yes, it is. But yeah, Gaiden's amazing because you have 3 of these of the bloody equipment items you put on, and I think you put those on even for professional in that game, which
which is terrifying.
Yeah. So here we fight some menacing men. I don't really know, like, the game makes a big deal of these guys, and I kind of thought they'd be characters in the rest of it, but no, they just, like, this is the only time you see them. And Fru picked up a coconut, and he's beating these guys with it. Don't worry about it.
If you're wondering why I stopped running,
stuff.
My controller has a very busted X button that I really should have replaced at this point because I have a fixed working controller next to me. Every so often it doesn't like think that I'm holding the button and instead I'm jumping because jump is on sprint. We alluded to earlier, there is an option in the options for always sprint on in battle, which I really should have on at this point.
Yeah, you should probably turn that on during the break, right?
Yeah,
I'll try to remind you. So getting into fight spawns, is not always a bad thing. We actually didn't comment on it, even though Froob used it already. So when you're in combat, you move faster, and you can also jump, which is helpful for stairs and such. So there's actually instances in this game where you want to be in combat. Certain triggers in the game will get you out of combat. Certain ones won't. So if you're in combat when you're next to it, you'll have to actually do the fight, which is slow. But the trigger we're going to does get you out of fight spawns, so we're good on that. Also, you saw Froob do a bit of a weird movement in one point up to here. That was to unlock a fast travel point. Fast travel in this game, you don't get the different fast travel points unlocked from the beginning. You have to actually explore to where they are to unlock them. So that's what that was about.
Also, Camelop is here because we all love a good mascot character, so we're going to go and help Camelop out.
Fact. I've only just met Camelop, but if anything happened to Camelop, the show might have to end early.
Something's happening to Camelop right now.
Oh no!
But we're going to stop it from
I
happening.
believe we've done this.
As we alluded to, hey look, it's a bite.
Yay!
Hopefully Bailey doesn't do deadly, but no. Bailey usually doesn't
really
do
unfortunate.
deadlies. That's a shame.
Yeah, the problem with him mostly is that block, because you have just enough bike to finish him off in 4 hits. And if he blocks even one of them, then you have to get the other one, which is a bit of a time loss.
Yep.
But not too bad.
Now we have a really cool piece of tech that was found all the way back in LAD, but hasn't been fixed yet and works in any Dragon Engine RPG game. If you want to explain this while I concentrate on not messing up the movement.
Yeah, so interesting thing. When you solve a puzzle shogi map, basically you get that count that you're going to see in the upper right, which tells you how many points you got. And you have this result screen, which you can hit confirm to get out of. And interestingly, I don't know who found this, maybe Tom?
I think it was TGP.
TGP, okay.
Professor.
So if you exit the match after you get the points, but before you confirm on the results screen, you still keep the points, but the game thinks you haven't solved the board yet. So you can keep doing the same puzzle, and the first puzzle here is very, very quick. You can keep doing the first one and just keep racking up points. Also important here to have no takebacks, because that gives you an extra 100 points. So we just do that 4 times, and we get 3,000 points in less than a minute if your menuing is optimal, which is very, very nice, because with 3,000 points, that's exactly enough to get the treasure chest reward from Shogi, which gives us over $10K and over 10K points. So that's really, really good for the money route. And yeah, I think the first run that used this was Yakuza 8, was Infinite Wealth, right?
Ladass. I should explain what Ladass means. Ladass is an acronym for Like a Dragon, all sub-stories.
The way you said that, it sounded like you were coming up with an excuse like on the fly.
Yeah, no, it is Like a Dragon, all sub-stories. Some British dude at some point, which, oh no, unfortunately that's me. Decided to like make a shortened version of all sub-stories to just, you know, ASS. Right. You know, it makes sense, right?
I mean, it sounds like it could have been maybe a pre-evolution of a Lapras from Pokemon. Lapras.
Yeah. Oh, I'm respecting this. Yeah, I'm respecting this.
Clarkers, I mean, this is, I'd say, playing the game casually, this is one of your walls. This fight right here.
This fight genuinely, much like the key fight earlier, it will kill you in 2 hits. You have to be careful of this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like
there are a lot of damage.
There are some fights in this that I'm literally going to say out loud. I'm respecting this, which is the deadly attacks that are happening, because there are some fights you just respect.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple where you very actively disrespect them. We'll see that as well. But you saw right there, we got that fast travel point. This is the one we unlocked earlier. Also, you're going to see Froob do some kind of awkward looking movement here, which is go past this pole and then go... Oh, no, I forgot. Yeah, I'm New Game Plus brained, so I forgot about this story. I've been speedrunning a lot of New Game Plus recently. But yeah, Froob is going to get some additional components here. These are going to be very important for something we're going to get in a bit. But yeah, going past that pole also guarantees that you unlock the fast travel point for Julie. It's weird. I think a lot of us were confused about this early on running the game, because if you just walk straight into the shop, you don't unlock the fast travel point.
Yes. It's really finicky. It's really weird.
Yeah. Also, another welcome return from Yakuza 8 we get right here is the Street Surfer. Which is our... Yeah.
Funnily enough, in Infinite Wealth, you can bypass the Street Surfer completely, which would make traversal in that game completely miserable. So they just made it a default, hey, you can't avoid this sub-story in this game, which I actually appreciate. I think that's much better.
Yeah, but I think even if this was optional, I think we would still do this, because the Street Surfer just saves so much time. Yeah. These guys are...
That's bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So right here, this is a classic example of what we mean when there's like a lot of RNG related to enemy positioning in this game. Because if those guys stick together, you can just swing that bench around and take both of them down at the same time. But if they split up like they did right there, then you have to like go to one and finish him off and then to the other. And just think that there's variations of that for every single fight in the game. Every single fight where it's not just a 1v1, that is.
So, important plotline wise, because we have to implement this into the gameplay, we need to come up with $10,000 due and 15 crewmates. Oh, I've gone too far again. This blonde woman is called Nicole Kidman. They had very much fun with this game. They had a lot of fun with this game. So what we're going to do in this little bit is go and get specific crewmates that are, one, pretty good at attacking, or two, very fast to get like Nicole is there. The route for the crewmates has like changed up quite a bit. This is Big No-No's route. Before with PS Kala, what we used to do was get a whole bunch of CDs to be able to get Kazmi Evolution, who was the biggest summon that you can get in Infinite Wealth. But what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves someone who was in both routes here. We get 2,000 tags, and then we're going to exchange those for someone who's amazing in Gaiden as well, the Chicken Man.
Yes.
Love Chicken Man. Chicken Man, my man.
Much love the Chicken Man.
He's very good. That rocket launcher is not just for show. He will bail us out of a lot of really bad situations.
He's fantastic, and he's maybe the best crewmate we get. Arguably, there's another contender for that crown that we're going to see in a little bit.
Yep. So we get introduced to the Infinite Wealth mechanic of making friends, which in this route for a specific crewmate is going to be very, very useful. And yeah, this is K-Son again. Featured in, obviously, good old Gaiden and Infinite Wealth. Then we get the boutique, which normally I wouldn't show off, but because we're in the middle of a run, I can show it off very quickly. It's the boutique like Gaiden. You can change up into different sets of clothes and stuff like that for each of your different like actual styles. Like you can customize here, and then there's like DLC items of like all the different characters from previous games. Anyone you want to see, Big Nono? We got Nishiki.
I actually have not seen Kiryu yet. Nishiki would also work. Either one of those.
I think I have Kiryu's because yeah, I don't think I have Kiryu's at the minute, unfortunately. But yeah, we're gonna go as Nishiki Majima. I don't think I've got Kiryu's at the minute.
Yeah, I've not seen Nishiki either. Nice.
He looks good in Nishiki's suit. Yeah, he looks very sharp in Nishiki's suit. Thankfully, costumes don't like do anything stats wise, which is nice. They're all like very like vanilla, just like cosmetic. But the nice thing is for the run, you don't want to put them on anyway because it's just going to lose you time. You just want to normally say no at the boutique.
But what's nice, and I'm going to shout out New Game Plus here as well, which is also a category we might... I will say, if people are like have any kind of trepidation about running any %, running New Game Plus is an option. It's a fun run, and it's got a lot of really unique things to it as well. And the nice thing about it is your default customizations carry over. So if you just like spend half a second going to that menu and just going right back, the game will put you into your customizations, which is nice. It's a nice little cosmetic touch for New Game Plus runs.
I appreciate how easy it is to make friends here. Although, to be fair, if I saw a well-dressed man riding by on a Segway and giving me a wave, I might be inclined to wave back. So I kind of get it.
Absolutely. This is how you make friends at GDQ. You just run around and like wave up.
Please
or offer them a bit.
Please do not bring your Segway inside the building.
do off a bit. Oh, hey. Oh, got an hand off.
Yeah, that's very common. There's like some weird input delay on the first time getting on the Segway, and then there's no input delay, so it's really easy for that to happen. This guy right here, this is why we made friends earlier. You get this crewmate when you have 10 friends on Hello Links. And they're pretty easy to pick up on the way here, so that's just a very safe crewmate to get.
He was introduced in Gaiden. His name is Hibiki. He's the 14th best host in Kamurocho. Yep.
I didn't know the fact who he was until I saw that title, and then I'm like, oh, I remember Hibiki.
He's just here. He's just chilling.
Hibiki knows that it's not about having world record. It's not about having first place. It's just about having fun.
He's the 14th best place on the leaderboard.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of people that you don't want to be, this guy is called Johnson. He kicks a cat, so we're going to kick him back in revenge. In the most LAD way possible by grabbing this barrel and just hitting him with it. How dare you? This is to unlock...
It's my barrel kick.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's called that because it's actually a barrel.
That is no less than someone who attacks a cat deserves.
Exactly. This is your introduction to like animals being able to go over to the Goro Kingdom where you saw us feed our animals earlier. It's like a short little like tutorial, but we get to hit a guy with a barrel, so we can't complain. Stamina Royale, one of the best healing items in the game, and now we get introduced to the bounty system. So this guy's going to act as like a mini boss. I'm going to hit him with this heat action, and then hopefully, because this stall is now out of the way, I can grab this big barrel at the back here and use that, and hopefully keep him stunned off for a little bit.
That is
very nice.
Good.
This is a PS
didn't even know that
original.
that's there.
Yeah, this is a PS Cal. I can't steal this one.
Ooh, okay.
Nice and deadly.
Putting that in my notes for when I get back to any percent.
Yeah, that's a PS Cal one, that one. That's not me. So basically the bounty system, there are certain enemies around that are a little stronger than usual, and when you beat them, they give you a bunch of money. This is going to be important because as you've seen so far, money is how we level up. And this would be a very good point for our wellness break, because I could do with a cup of tea. Help my throat.
Lovely. Okay. Yeah, we're just under an hour here, but this run will go just about 3 hours, so absolutely happy to let you take a break, knowing that you are a little under the weather. Go on.
just a little.
Heat the kettle back up, and we'll be back with you in just a little bit for more Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Stick around. Welcome back to Out of the Box for our Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii speedrun with Froob and Big No-No. We've just finished our first wellness break, as this run, is, as they described earlier, is a little bit longer, but we're ready to get back into it for you. So Froob, when you are ready, count us back in.
Yep. We got quite a bit. We're like halfway through chapter 2. This chapter is so long. So we took the wellness break like right here because we're about to do a lot of stuff that Big No-No will have a lot of time to be able to explain, thankfully. But let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go. So we have the money that we need for the story. We're kind of going to spend a little bit of it, but we also need more crew members. So if you'd like to explain what we're doing, because this is the cool part, I'm very happy you routed this in. I'm very, very happy you routed this in.
Yeah, I was there. There's no way to get me. There was no way to get me not to do this. So, Froob is going to play some cool here. We're going to do the one-shot challenge, which kind of like puzzle shogi. They're predetermined maps where you just have to figure out how to insert the red ball into the hole without hitting any of the black ones. Ah, that's unfortunate. That was just a bit too hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's 3. That's maybe.
I need to move it a bit more.
Might need. Yeah, the balance here is very like, because if you hit the ball too hard, then it just goes into the black ones. If it's too little, then you might not get the red into the hole. Just need to find that sweet spot.
Especially
but yeah, so
later,
there's
when you're doing stunt jumps and the like.
Yes, the hardened legend routes.
Okay.
Hole in one, let's go.
Love this game. Yep.
Oh,
I need to move it a bit. Yeah, I'm a bit off my angle. I need to be like a bit more. Yeah. More back.
And here I feel like you can go all the way back. Like you can do this full force. Yeah.
This is why you should speedrun Yakuza games, folks, because of fun stuff like this.
If you're good at pool, like 3-minute time save.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can see, there
being
are
good at pool and being good at this version of pool and what they're asking you to do here are kind of fundamentally different things.
That's too hard.
This is very true. This is very true. But yeah, so there are 4 of these courses: easy, normal, hard, and legend. And man, I miss when these games had legend difficulty. And each one has 3 maps on it like this. And basically, you just need to memorize the exact solution to each one. It can be very finicky. But once we do that, we get points, and those points are going to be very useful because it is going to give us. Well, let's just say this crewmate is the GOAT. But we'll get to that in a moment. I would.
Will I though? Will I though?
Oh no! Hold on. Go to the. Maybe
that's the one.
Change the angle of it. Okay,
That's
that
one.
works.
Yeah, the reason why I full power that at first is to make sure I have the angle, and then I'm just doing way too much power. This one, I, for some reason, hate. Casually, it took me so long to do this one. What?
Oh, no. Yeah. That is Dragon Engine
That's what
physics.
happens if you go a bit too far on that way, so... I'm pretty good at this. Like, this is actually surprisingly going horrifically wrong.
On the one hand, this is a very
very
fun-looking physics toy. On the other
kidding me?
hand, everything else about how this is going.
I have one attempt
The thing
left.
with this, and I feel like this happens a lot in
Let's it out.
speedrunning, where sometimes like you'll develop muscle memory, and then your muscle memory, your body kind of adjusts to it. So now all of your like cues are wrong. So you just go completely out of sync with what you need to do. Anyway, Sheepman, get it,
Yeah.
Sheepman, the goat.
I like Big Nono's joke of the goat. I was not trying to delay that joke.
That was very bad, as jokes go.
Big Nono, you want to take over? I'm
I
going to leave.
apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand. Have a good evening.
But yeah, fast traveling here. If you go to pool, it's faster than just stepping outside again. But yeah, so that's doing the one-shot challenge on easy and normal give us both Sheepman, who's very good. He's going to be in our squad, and also it gives us access to that one guy in the back who's not very good. But the thing with beginner runs is who's on your cannons doesn't really matter that much. It's mostly who's in your fighting squad. If you don't know what it is, don't worry. We'll get to that point in a bit. We'll explain what the different crewmates do when we get there.
I don't think I needed to
but
save load that. I think they would have gotten off my back before we got to Ranko.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you get an instinct to save and load where you're next to a fight spawn. Yeah, we're going to get one other. I think this is the last one we get in Honolulu. We're going to get Renko here. She is a crewmate she's really good. She's a really good fighter. And all we need to do to get her is like put into $2,000. So
She ate
This is an
so
easy
much
choice.
meat that she's stuck here cleaning dishes until she pays off her tab, which is $2,000 worth.
yeah, really
That much.
Yeah, I mean, put me in a Brazilian steakhouse in the right mood, and I could probably get at least most of the way there.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll have to become a pirate. Right here, we get introduced to a really, really nice tool as well. For legal reasons, we cannot refer to this as a hook shot, but
Yeah.
so yeah, the hook weapon. You're actually, I don't think Frube is going to use it here. But yeah, he's going to abuse the tutorial prompt here just to do some damage with the gun and then clean these guys up.
This looks like it won't hit, it will. I just aim to the right, it will. You only, when you're aiming the gun, you can't like full go around, but if you aim to the side, there's some magic shenanigans that will happen and your bullet will just go like sideways.
Yeah. Classic Yakuza, by the way. The game refuses to target enemies, even though, like, even if you have one enemy, sometimes the game's like, no, I actually want to target this wall. We go here. This will seem weird, but this opens up fast travel for later. Also, we're going to pick up a treasure chest here for some extra money and points. And also, we're going to go into this shop down below here, where we will buy 5 rings. And these rings give us a big, big damage boost.
Oh, hello.
The reason we're getting 5 and not 6 is that we get another ring a bit later. And also, we don't have enough money, but even if we wanted to route it in, there will be a better ring to use instead of a 6th ring here. And now with this extra damage, we're going to do some fun stuff. So I think all of us, when the bounty system was introduced and you walk out of Diamond Head and you see this guy that's worth 16k, like, obviously this is not someone that the game wants you to fight this early on. But again, like I said, we're very stupid. So we see this guy and we're like, I'm going to fight this guy right away. And this is good. This is Lopez, and Lopez is going to give us a lot of money, which is going to make this early part of the run much nicer. That's actually what allows us to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the suggestion that was made earlier out of chat that I might recommend instead of self-deprecation is the suggestion that runners may be masochistic in some of their routing choices.
Sure. Yeah. We were just that brave and cool. Yes, that's
exactly.
But yeah, Lopez, as you can see, has a lot of HP. Luckily, he does get staggered once he gets to like the lower parts of his second health bar. So Froob could just finish him off with just a few combos there.
Post picking up the cone, I messed up the rest of that fight, but I managed to pull that back a little bit at the very least. But that wasn't great.
It's weird because there's some really like. The cone heat move, I feel, is kind of finicky. Like, you always have to delay it a bit or change your position up to get it, I feel.
Yeah, no, agreed.
But yeah, having done that, we now have all the crewmates and all the money we need. So this is a mechanic you see in a lot of Yakuza games. We call it the money wall, where the game just says you need this much money to proceed. And it's basically a way to make sure that you don't just mainline the main story, that you do some side content, which is unfortunate when you try to do an any percent run.
Yeah, this is
so by. Sorry,
I was going to say, this is why we said this game is very Gaiden blueprinted, because Gaiden does this exact same thing. Excuse me? I would like to buy a laser, thank you. The other issue that I have, when you do multiple runs of like Dragon games, it starts to skip those cutscenes in Infinite Wealth, and it's X in this game. Why? Like, I cannot wrap my head around it ever.
Yeah, they also made a switch at some point where instead of the yes/no being left/right, they're now top/bottom, and it's all these little things.
Why did Judgment change yes to being like on the bottom as well? What is happening?
No.
RGG, please.
Some UI designer is just very persuasive. Good at making arguments for why things need to get changed to help with job security. I'm just imagining at this point if you if a Like a Dragon runner ever found their way to doing multiple games as part of a larger marathon, your main note when you swap from one game to another on like your splits is, all right, this button means this, that button means something else.
We've had runners who actually had on their splits the sequence of inputs you need to do for taxis.
Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, you can see there's a big menu here because this is the first time we actually assign our crew and get our ship in order. So basically we assign one squad, one fighting group here.
Talk to me. I think I was supposed to be here above, but I think it's fine.
If you'd like to know what our crew is up to on a week-to-week basis, you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to check out this season's lineup and the schedule for an in-depth look at this week's runs.
And this is another look at our animal pen. Again, if you haven't bought this game yet, what do I need to do to convince you to get it? Other than you can have a pen with cats and dogs and other animals. You can literally have a cow in this game.
Yup.
Also, Froob, did you remember to equip the laser cannons?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. No, I've forgotten that in the past. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I did.
I have too.
Yep. Yeah, I did it between the upgrades, Beef Burst, then upgrades, then laser cannon, then the rest of the crew. That's how I usually do it.
Your laser cannon, chat. Couldn't be me.
The laser cannons, as you can probably guess, are exceedingly good, and you'll see them real soon. But Big Nono hinted at this earlier. Up here, this treasure right here is our very final ring. Now, this ring is fun. This ring is exceedingly fun. So you'll see when I equip it, It gives me extra damage at the cost of some of my defense, but the true masochistic nature of this ring, if anyone is familiar with the item, the charismatic photo, it's very similar to that.
Got it. So you're just going to pull encounters like mad now.
Every enemy in fights is going to be massively aggressive towards us now, which is both a good and a bad thing. You're going to respawn on the dock? Yes, you are.
Bad for overall durability, but great for grouping together.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is why in max difficulty runs like Legend in the older games or Professional in the newer games, obviously most fights are slower, but some are actually faster because enemies just group up a lot more reliably. But yeah, those 6 rings are, I believe, the only rings we get in 80%. We don't get any thumb rings anymore, do we?
There is a nice little ring finger that we could get in Honolulu, but it only adds like 160 attack. So it's at this point with the damage we're doing, it's not really that worth it. If it was more, maybe. But and the trouble is, we go past where it is when we don't have the chain hook, and you need the chain hook for it, which you'll be seeing a bit of when we're here in Madlantis, actually.
Yeah, these encounters are really unfortunate. This stretch here from getting to Rich Island to the first tournament, you're just going through all the worst maps for fight spawns in the game. But yeah, this is going to be our first tournament, and as usual, these fights all start with boat battle, and then we go into a deck battle, like an on-foot battle. And as you can see, the laser just completely melts away the HP on that boat, so it's very, very fast.
Yeah, lasers do appear to do a number on wooden hulls. That checks out. If my understandings of both math and science are accurate.
And that's another advantage of running Yakuza games. You learn all about math and science.
Exactly. You learn just what kind of punishment the human body can withstand.
Exactly. By the way, right here...
Thanks, Chicken Man.
Chicken Man, yeah, does a lot of work. But yeah, in these deck battles, the important thing is you want to get rid of the lieutenants, which are the big HP bar guys without the purple signs, because they trigger the abilities, the special abilities of the other team. And not only do those make the other team, like, give them buffs, they also take a lot of damage for the animation itself. So what Froob did there is just hunt down the lieutenants first, the squad leaders first, and then go for the rest of them.
I just realized I made a mistake.
Oh?
No, Natasha. At least she's easy to get, but yeah, it's a good thing I remembered that.
Yeah, that's plenty of other opportunities to get her.
This is a good fight spawn to get, because we can actually... We need to get to a specific place, but this will de-aggro by the time we get there. Also, the treasure I was talking about earlier, Big No, that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, there's a bunch of stairs on the way here, which you can just jump down, or just run down faster.
I should be doing that. I keep getting them in a fight.
Yeah.
And then we'll de-aggro about here. It's okay if we don't, because we need to speak to her in a second. What is happening? Thanks, game. Good job. Good job.
It always de-aggros by the time you get here, which is actually really nice. I've been thinking about intentionally staggering my movement in the section here, just so you get here without anyone on your tail.
Hi.
But yeah, this is another shop. Like we said, it's really easy to get 2 shots later in this run, so you do want some healing. And a lot of heat recovery items and booze as well for those extra heat moves.
That's fun. Usually this fight.
Now the game does a really...
Ooh, lucky.
Yeah, that was an unlucky one, but that was dealt with well. Also, the game introduces fast travel in Atlantis and immediately takes it away. Because it wants to introduce you to it, but it also wants to force you into a fight coming up. And yeah, Froob up here is going to use the hook that we got earlier, and we're going to get another treasure chest, which contains the stone carpet.
Whoa. What was that aiming? Damn.
But yeah, this is another, like, around 10k money and points, which is, it's also very fast to get. We get a couple of attack upgrades off of that. We're going to get our and more upgrades and almost all of our upgrades in a bit, but first we need to earn a bit more money.
The thing is, this is an area trigger, so we don't have to worry if we get into a fight here.
Yeah, and once again, move faster in combat, so you can just get from here to there, get into this fight.
Actually do the thing this time and jump over them.
So by jumping to one side, Froob lines all these guys up for a shot. That's unfortunate. Again, if we're talking about the RNG in these games, these guys just moved in a very unfortunate way. Usually you get almost all of them with one shot, but that time it just didn't work out.
Yeah, sadly.
Still not too bad, at least. Sometimes a few of them will run over to the other side of the map, so at least that didn't happen this time.
Yeah, so we would grab it
back.
there. Okay.
No, you need to go back. Froob?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, convicts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was too busy thinking of the treasure up there and when to bring that in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Stop skipping these text boxes. It's single one. Hi, Wade.
Yeah, so this is another bounty fight, another 16k one.
Look at the damage he just did to me, by the way.
Oh my, yeah.
I didn't like that. And I'm not the one running.
This is why we say, even on beginner, you've got to be so careful with this run. Like, you can get demolished. And now, Wade is going to potentially use his deadly attack. I'm going to risk it. Nice. Good.
Hey.
Nice. That was good.
Okay, good recovery. Whew.
I appreciate the casual instant clothing change at the end of the fight.
Yeah, so you basically have two different outfits. One for Sea Dog, one for Mad Dog. So you can do like two different things. That's a good fight spawn down there, because that means there won't be one up here for the other remember that I am remembering to get. Theo? So we give him $2,000. He joins us. Do I need to make sure I get Natasha before we leave here? I think I do, right?
No, you can get her later.
Okay. Yeah. As long as I remember the next time we're here, which I think is chapter 3. Arcana, I do have a attack level up real quick, as well as... So attack level up, and then we're going to go to Sea Dog Star. We're going to get Charge and Shoot, which is the upgrade for the gun, and Chain Readiness, which makes it so our hook shot happens a bit quicker. Getting a bit more left again. Having very bad luck with the gunshots at the moment, sadly. Sorry for
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Pepper at me again.
Pretty much, yeah. Masaru, gotta love the guy. He's always very useful after all the enemies are down.
Yep. Okay, so we're now in our next big set piece. Noah's been taken, so we got to go get him back. And you can see that, you know, we've just been given the chain hook, so RGG's just like, hey, we're going to make sure you know how to use the chain hook on, you know, these grapple points. Some of them are a bit weird, and you have to walk forward a little bit to get to. This one you don't. This one is like so far away, you just do this one. Then we have a really cool, like, little gimmicky swashbuckling bit that we will actually have to do the tutorial for this one. But the nice thing is, if you're at the right angle, you can actually, like, get the stab off immediately, which, unfortunately, I didn't for that guy, so I have to chill for a second. No, I'm just going to do the counter now. My timing is off.
Yeah, it's much easier to deal with the enemies in the next swashbuckling part. This first one, they really want to tutorialize you on the parry, so those enemies are just very persistent in blocking your attacks.
I love jumping down there.
Yeah, it's so funny. It looks like you should just immediately fall into the water and game over, but luckily you don't.
Yep, it's so fun. So with the extra charge of gun, it now like hits in a bit more of an AoE. So we should, ideally, be able to hit multiple enemies with our charge gun.
Yes, the power of bigger bullet.
What did you actually say, Jason? Oh, you did take care of him. Wasn't expecting that.
As we all know, the bigger the bullet, the stronger the gun. That is just science. Again, you learn so much about physics. Oh wait, did you turn onto?
I did, and I keep jumping.
Yes. Okay.
Oh dear. Not best gunshot, sadly, but it's still fine. Okay, that's not fine.
Ooh, okay.
I should not be changing style that much.
So yeah, pretty much this is very similar to the other pile kind of fights we had earlier, except we have a lot of these big boys here, so for them we need some extra damage, so we just use the items here.
Slow.
As you can see, getting all of these extra attack upgrades really beefs you up. Like, we just demolished all those mini bosses with a single swing of the crate, which is very nice.
And we've also got the benefit of the item that makes enemies more aggressive, so unlike the earlier Pelicana enemies, they're less likely to try to hang back.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for this fight. I've been having a lot of problems with this fight lately.
This is a difficult fight. They're very aggressive. This is also the one, as we see here, this is also the one fight in any percent where enemies have grenades. Well, not entirely true. The only non-boss enemies that have grenades. So we'll see what consequences that has.
Yeah, I'm really glad there's not more fights with grenade enemies in this, because we both found out when we were doing our casual playthroughs, they can be so annoying on like professional difficulty. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you.
They are terrifying.
It's gonna hit me. Yep. Yeah, I'm not gonna get a chance now, look. I have to heal just in case. This is why this is why we pick up a bunch of like healing items as well. I need to go after the gun enemies now. Was it this fight I was like questioning earlier if I want to use my doppelgangers in? Because like we don't use our Mandus gauge.
I use doppelgangers here.
Yeah, we don't use our Mandus gauge until the tutorial, and it gives it back to us anyway. I was respecting that, but the game didn't register, or my controller broke. One or two.
The game, it does get a bit hectic in a lot of these larger scale fights. Like I think it was very good. It was a good idea for them to try their hand at large scale combat, but it also kinda is messy a lot of the time, I feel.
Yeah. I'd also like to just say that I do appreciate that the doppelgangers also change their costume depending on what you're wearing. Good little attention to detail. Right. I might want to be careful of this guy, actually. This HP value. I should probably heal.
Also, this is a failed QT.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried about my health. This won't do that much damage, but he will.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I can stagger him to stop him from deadly attacking, but unluckily. Yep. We respect it. I didn't do enough damage because I'm respecting it. I don't want to get hit here.
Yeah, that's very understandable. That guy can easily kill you with that deadly attack if that actually connects.
Yep. One thing I don't think we've mentioned just yet, whenever we go back to the world map on the ship, we do actually get our HP back. So that's why I'm also trying not to heal at this point, is because we now go back to the world map after this.
Also, I don't know if we've mentioned this, but all of your QTs in this game are predetermined, so the only reason you'll ever see a runner fail a QTE is probably if they made a mistake, I suppose, but for the most part, it's intentional, because the animation is just faster. Sometimes we'll succeed a QTE even if it loses time, just because we want that extra heat, because you do get like half of your heat back when you succeed a QTE. But in that fight, for example, where we just don't use a QTE in the second phase, it's better to just fail the QTE and get the time save.
Let's go grab the Tasha on the way out here. Okay. This is the Devil Flag side content? It is, isn't it? So we're still in chapter 2, by the way.
Hey, you know pacing? Because
no,
whoever
never heard of it.
Thought about this, yeah, exactly. What pacing? What's that? This is where the game just kind of takes a really long detour. This entire time, our objective is get to Honolulu, and the game's like, no, let's do a bit of sea exploration. So this introduces a side story. Basically, in Gaiden, you had the Colosseum, and in the Colosseum, you had the 4 champions of the Colosseum you had to fight. It was like your sort of side story arc within the Colosseum. In this game, they decided to have the Colosseum in one thing and the side story in another. And yeah, we're just going to explore that. We're going to do a bunch of combat with these devil flags. And it's going to take a while.
And again, as earlier we said before the break, any boats that are out on sea, you can just save load away. It's really nice.
Right. And hey, if you missed out on anything from Hotfix or from recent events like Back to Black and Frost Fatalities, you can check out our VODs at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. You'll have previous episodes of this show and the other show for this evening, Creature Corner, going up there as well. So yeah, since we have a little bit of time, as you've alluded to, let's talk a little bit about if somebody were just getting into running this, especially if they hadn't run other Like a Dragon games. What would you say the like relative, what would be like a first priority to try to get more used to or try to consider on top of what you might do in a casual playthrough to make things faster? Would that come down to things like making sure you like learning how to handle these larger encounters and group up enemies, or?
Well, I think Fru will agree with this because this is something we've talked about a lot. One thing that's really important, I guess, is, and this is actually, I think, a good rule for any speedrun, familiarity with the game is so important because things like, you see Froob skip a lot of cutscenes in this game. Some cutscenes
try and skip cutscenes that I can't skip.
Yeah,
that'll also happen. Yeah,
curse right there. But like remembering what you can skip and what you can't, and how to do it optimally.
Being able you'll end up after you finish skipping. That makes sense.
Exactly, because a lot of new runners, you'll see them like take a moment to remember where they need to go next. If you have that knowledge down, even from casual playthroughs, that helps so much with being faster in the actual speedrun.
Yep.
So I would say that, and familiarity with the combat system, because we have all these strats, we have all these tools that we use, but at the end of the day, things will go wrong, and you'll need to think about how to mitigate them going wrong, mitigate time losses, and that you can only really do with like deep familiarity with the combat system.
Yep. And the nice thing is, like, a lot of these games have different, like, fight styles and stuff like that. But if you learn, like, one Yakuza run, a lot of the skills that you learn from that run can be taken to the next, even if the runs are vastly different. Like, for example, I would say that Zero into K1, for example, is a good example of, like, even though they're very different runs, there are certain, like, basic skills that you will learn doing either Zero or K1 that can apply to the next game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have all these groups of Yakuza games that really feed into each other. Zero and K1, K2 and 6. This game and Gaiden, I would say, actually have a lot of similarities.
3 and 4 especially.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff like that, but I would say, and I think you'll agree, Froob, that doing any Yakuza runs teaches you a lot for other Yakuza runs, because these games, even when the mechanics aren't the same, so much of the DNA is similar that you just like, it just kind of preps you for other runs in a way that you can't quite explain.
Yes. Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. Okay. So, with the Devil Flag stuff, this is just teaching you all about like all the different like types of Devil Flag challenges you go up against. Sometimes you get like the hard fight like this, which I mean you already know exactly what we're going to do here. Mm-hmm. Just that simple, just laser. That's it. Don't have to get fancy with it.
Yeah, it's a shame that we don't do any of these fights with the cannons, because that would just show you how much time the lasers save. They just melt things. It's beautiful. But once again, we have another deck fight. You'll see Froob going for the big HP bar guys, first of all, just to disable their attacks.
Oh, boy.
You'll hear a lot of Sheepman going bah in the background, which just indicates that he's shooting people down. Love Sheepman.
These two just guarding constantly. That is unfortunate.
That was just very bad luck. Really not much that could have been done about that, because at the very next, like, right after that animation, you already took the last squad leader down, but yeah, he was just... It's unfortunate, because sometimes enemies will literally keep blocking for 10-15 seconds, and there's nothing you can do about it that actually saves time.
Yeah, and their HP regen that they get in that fight, it doesn't do anything. We literally one-shot the majority of the enemies in that fight, so... It's really frustrating, unfortunately. But yeah, we're still not done with the side content here. It opens up like the way to Rocket Island, and it's like every time you like take care of like a certain amount of the Devil Flags themselves, you'll then get access to like their island to go and fight their boss, blah blah blah. This is all leading up into another new type of battle, which is genuinely really cool. I do like it. But it's the modern RGG thing of just, they're really proud of their new content, as they should be, and they're going to make you experience it. And they're looking at you, Dondoko Island. The newest route for Infinite Wealth. Beforehand, we wanted to do Dondoko to get the 1-star, to get the money from it within the 3 days. Now we don't want to interact with it in the slightest. It's a 20-minute sit there. Which is the same for New Game Plus, because you can't skip it in the slightest.
So hey, if you have been wanting to run Infinite Wealth and you're worried about the length, that's a 20-minute break built in.
Yep.
Which we should say, this is actually not true for this game, because this game has no good breaks at all. But most of the longer Yakuza runs have built-in breaks that are really nice. This is true for Yakuza 0, for 5, for 8. Does 7 have breaks in it?
No. Yakuza 5 is just a break.
You know, someone in chat noticed earlier that when you were pairing up games that have similar styles and techniques to transfer over, that 5 was suspiciously omitted.
5, I love that game. I replayed it casually not too long ago. It's such a beautiful game. The speedrun is something.
I love the speedrun for 5 when it lets you play the game. That's the issue.
Yeah. It's
an enemy behind me that I missed.
6-hour run where you play the game for, like, I think 2 hours out of that.
Pretty much. Sheepman actually took care of Sheepman, we're good. We're good, dude. We're good.
Stop. He's already dead.
I absolutely love those celebration poses. Those are really
great.
just giving me life.
They're amazing. They have so much fun with these things.
Yep.
You really can see the sort of love and care that went into this game. Like, this is a game they really wanted to make. You can just see it in so many things. This is not something we'll see, but there's like cardboard cutouts of sheep and chickens in the golf courses in these games. And for this game especially, they put on like little eye patches on them, like they put little pirate outfits on them.
Again? Next. In Dragon Engine again. One more. Sheep Man did me the honors. He was going to.
Okay.
That's our Sheep Man. Again, it's all good, dude. I got it under control. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. The clip has already been loaded. It cannot be unloaded.
So this is actually a big tutorial for this right here, the Dark God's Violin. This is one of the Devil Flag storyline's special treasures. These are the Madness Gauge for Sidon. So as you'll see here, you can skip the first cutscene, you can't skip this one. So enjoy this. This is what happens when you play the Dark Violin. You summon space sharks.
I love so much that we can't skip this one.
Yup.
That you just have to show it.
Very rarely, this can bust and one of the enemies can survive. We charge up a gunshot because, you know, you don't survive a gunshot. So
you might think, no way can these guys block the evil sharks from hell that you unleash upon them. No, they just hold up their swords and they're completely invulnerable. So yeah, you do need to be on the lookout to see if any enemies are blocking, and if they are, just deal with them individually.
Then we get one more, we're still not done, one more big new fight in terms of our Devil Flag stuff. This is like a big, like 100-person fight. It's really cool. It utilizes like all of your like crew members. We have to, this is the problem here, is try to, I'm dying. Also, you can't heal in this bit.
That is a problem.
I need you. Please don't hit me. Thank you, whoever healed me.
Yeah, this is a really nasty fight because if you get unlucky here, it's very scary.
I'm not gonna get there in time. Jason! That's fine. I'm gonna hold off and I'm gonna use ours because Noah, who we put back into the squad, no, we didn't. He's not actually in the squad for this one. He actually can heal. He'll be back in the squad later. But I will give my team members a bit of damage because I need them to help me out here. I should be shooting at this point. But with the Gaia ring again. No. The Gaia ring again. They're all aggressive, as you can see. I should have dodged.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that was just me charging my gun or it was my thing, my controller. Death comes quick and fast.
Yeah.
We'll be able to do that a bit better this time.
Yeah,
so this is
it's
coming
very
back to what we were saying
unfortunate.
earlier about reacting to stuff.
Yeah, especially with how absolutely you were swarmed almost immediately, and while you were busy trying to describe something, and at that point the fight had already kind of gone pear-shaped.
Yes.
It's one of those cases where if you just get swarmed, then you want to take the risk just to be faster, but sometimes that can result in stuff like that.
The wild thing is, like, as we said earlier, we're after, like, the red enemies, but you can see that, like, all the red enemies, or the bar for their skill, was already gone, like, before we took out that one. Because for this fight, there's extra. So finding the right enemies, Chicken Man, can be a big pain in the backside. And see how much easier and quicker that went that time?
Never routing out Chicken Man and Sheep Man. Never, never. No matter how much you pay me, never routing them out.
I still don't have a PB in this game where I don't die at some point, and it's usually this chapter. Just frustrating.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this chapter is like half the runtime.
What, 15 minutes in?
Yeah, good news. We're done.
Hey.
I'm going to Hawaii. Wish I could say that in real life.
Right?
I don't have the money to go to Hawaii. Yeah, the nice thing is we can now finish off the chapter at last. We can actually go and do the story stuff that we were told to do, like, literally, like, 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, and this is the fast travel point we unlocked like 5 hours ago when we got the rings here.
The very nice thing is this is an area trigger. There is usually always a fight spawn either here or in the entrance to this place. You can just go past it. It's really nice. This is, again, coming back to what Big Nono was saying earlier, about having that knowledge of, how the game works. So we know that this is an area trigger, so we know just go there. Easy.
I appreciate that the speed up in combat also seems to work while you're on the Segway.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing to get the shot of adrenaline into your body and start running faster, but the idea that you can just, I know I'm in combat, I'm just going to give it a little bit more gas on my Segway here. I'm going to lean a little further forward.
It's really nice. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I was wondering today, does that speed up? Because it looks like you're faster, but I wasn't sure if it's
like
actually...
But it could just be a camera trick.
Kind of,
I was wondering about that myself. I don't know.
Speaking of Gaiden Blueprinted, that is the quest for 7 golden balls, just like in Gaiden, and the rewards are exactly the same as they are in Gaiden. So when I keep saying this game is very Gaiden Blueprinted, that's what I mean.
It's actually slightly worse because isn't there one option in Gaiden that gives you the 100 healing items, and in this it's like 5?
Yes, because it gives you 100 in this, but because it gives you Tyranners, you can only hold 5 of them.
No.
Oh, okay.
But in Gaiden, you can just have all 100 in your inventory, which is amazing for the Colosseum. You practically need that for the Colosseum. Here's an old friend. This is Shigaki. Fun fact, this guy you're about to see here, if you've watched the Like a Dragon live-action Amazon Prime show, which, why did you bother with that? That's the guy that plays Majima. And this is us as Majima.
That show did not deserve this, man. He did his best, goddammit.
I got to shoot, my bad. Wasn't a good shot in the first place. Come here, Shigaki. We want to make sure we hit Shigaki with the chair.
Yeah, this can be kind of scary because it's kind of hard to fish him out of the crowd like that, but Fruit did a good job of that. So good stuff.
Guy.
The chainsaw guy here is very annoying. Like he loves to block your attacks like that. He's almost like another mini boss here, even though he doesn't have technically the mini boss health bar.
Where's my barrel? Where's my barrel?
But yeah, with everyone taken care of, we can just deal with... Oh, there's one guy still left. Damn.
It's actually the chainsaw guy. This is going wrong.
Oh my god. Oh no,
Ideally, I don't want to use a heat action because I want to save that for the next fight, although I have enough in terms of my... Thank you. Was that Nishida? Was that my boy? That was my boy.
Yeah.
I want to hold on to my heat for the start of the next fight because I can always get my heat back and then purchase like heat items from the shop that's outside, which is what I should have like done instead and should have just hold on to my heat and lost time. But you want to be full heat for this next part. Top right of the screen right now. Slight spoiler. This is about to happen. We still have amnesia, by the way. We don't know who that guy is. Who is that guy? I have no idea. I'm just going to make sure
you out there in chat don't know either, then you're not missing anything. You're having the exact experience that Goro is. Although Chad has also been so gracious as to correct us earlier on the healing items. It's stamina and X's rather than Tyranners.
Good. Anyway, he's got his shirt off, so you know what that means.
Yep, it's time for a proper fight.
Yep. So I'm going to do this fight in a very specific way, and I'm going to concentrate on this because I've been messing up my last few fights. And also, Cyber's going to try and hit me real hard, real fast at the start of this fight.
Yeah, so what you want to do right away is switch to Mad Dogs, just so we can use environmental items, and you want to quick step out of the way of that attack. Because otherwise, Saitama will just like home into you and ram into you like that. Do a bit of extra damage, gets him into his QTE phase. This is another QTE that we're going to pass, because again, we want the extra heat.
Should be X.
Very
I keep
nice
forgetting which one this one
here.
is, but it should be X. Yep. Most of them are X in this game, but there's like 1 or 2 that are triangle.
Yeah. Like one in the finale and the Haku one, maybe?
Oh, camera turn.
I don't remember. Either way, remember what we said about respecting the deadly attacks? Not so much in here, because as you can see, Saitama just completely whiffs his grab when we're in the animation, so we just like slide past it. It's really consistent. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get your timing wrong, he will grab you, and you don't want that because he uses his Mountain Crusher move from Infinite Wealth.
Sword beats shark, but barrel beats grab. I'm trying to put this together. It's not quite a rock, paper, scissors, but I think I have something going.
Yeah, but what beats squid?
It's... Ooh, that is a good question. Rock, shark, squid?
Chopsticks. I could eat.
Maybe.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I could go for some takoyaki. Shoutouts to Dead Souls, the most takoyaki game in the Yakuza series.
So we get the boys, we get Nishida and Minami, not seen Minami since Yakuza 4. They're very good crew members. Shoutouts to my notes in this bit where I put a profanity here towards myself, so I know to rest in my captain's quarters. This is like the only time it happens in the run, and I kept forgetting.
Yeah, we've all had early runs where we ran upstairs and we're like, oh, actually, you need to rest. Okay, back down.
I dislike this hitbox as well for this bit, for the story. Like, it's surprisingly small. You wouldn't think it is, but you can miss that if you keep running forward.
Okay, Chad has it. Plasma cannon beats squid. Which is true, because it is on the boat, so you do have access to your laser cannons there.
Well, I'm going to talk about them in hours. We're not.
Okay, hold on to that. Hold on to that thought. We might have some things to say about that. But yeah, right here, Froob is going to do our second crew formation menu.
I've lost where I am. Machine guns, laser. Where am I? Am I losing my mind? Yeah, Marco and Nishida. There you. Nishida up here. And then Masaru with Natasha, who's here. Lost myself again. Squad 2, you lead for now. Let me bring in, obviously, everybody else. I don't know what happened there. That's the worst I've ever done that menu. Cool.
By the way, I've been thinking that maybe we want Nishida in the actual squad, because even though he's a support, on paper he does have better attack than, Yeah,
he's ridiculously strong.
But that's something to look into.
I'm going to avoid the sub-story on the right-hand side, but this is also going to unlock a fast travel here, which is something that I need to remember for the next time I do my fast travel to get back to the pier. And I'm going to do this fight, which I've not been doing too great at recently, so...
So yeah, this is Kobayashi, who works for a guy called... we still haven't talked about this. Works for a guy who has, typical American name, Spade Tucker. Surely you know a lot of Americans with that kind of name. Yeah, we got rid of his ads.
I've watched Full Metal Alchemist. That's the show about America, right?
It's the most it's the most Sleeve McDickle kind of name.
This is Sleeve McDickle, yes. Bobson Dugnut.
Yes.
I am also a fan of fighting baseball, thank you.
It's
The concrete block broke. I don't know what happened. Like, I picked it up, it was in my hands.
That's unfortunate.
Dragon engine again.
Dragon engine stuff. Yep. Weapons randomly fall over, break. It's wonderful. We love it.
Shame, because I actually dealt with the ads kind of well for once.
Yeah.
I usually don't. And then we're gonna make a little detour to this guy. Hi, Warren. Ideally, I can do this correctly. So what we're gonna do is not that, and definitely not this direction. That's actually kind of fine, because that can get you from behind. I couldn't see.
Yeah, the camera is really not being very helpful here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run over.
But yeah, this is another 16k bounty fight. Going to be very, very useful for later. Any The squid enjoyers in chat will see the payoff for this in a bit.
We're gonna respect this. Always respect Warren.
I appreciate that you took out the enemy who's fanatical about recycling with a recycling bin. The irony was not lost on me.
Okay, very important here is to not mash too fast. There is an NPC, Lesser Heart. She was introduced in Infinite Wealth. In this game, she serves one purpose and one purpose alone: steal your money. 10,000, which we need that 10,000. No.
In my initial runs, I actually thought this was a money well, and I routed in the extra money to give her. But no, you can just skip this. You can just completely ignore this, which you should.
Yep, I was also the same, because like half the time in an RGG game is like, big no will know. RGG's like yes nos are fake. Like you'll think, you know, hey, you can say no to this and just leave. No, wrong. You have to do the thing, but here it is a literal no, because it is tied to the Minato girls side content, which Masaru's lonely, Masaru wants a girlfriend. We're not going to get into the Minato girls stuff. You get very good crewmates as rewards, but it's too long to get in the actual speedrun. So, for potential longer categories that we're thinking of, like maybe like an Amon percent, the rewards from them would actually be pretty good as crewmates, but yeah. that's all I got.
Yeah, I think at some point someone will have to do an all sub stories run of this game. I think that someone already knows. He's right here next to me.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, T-Tree, I can't believe you've agreed to this.
Yeah, you know, I thought I'd dip my toes into something longer. I really have very few runs that are longer than an hour, so I figured why not go just absolutely all the way to the other end of the spectrum.
It's funny because I have friends who are mostly like Final Fantasy and JRPG runners, and they all say that Yakuza runs are too short. And I once told one of them, well, Yakuza 0 all sub-stories, that's like a 14-hour run. And they were like, that's more like it.
There you go.
That's like decently long.
I apologize. That made me laugh.
That
made me laugh.
Take care of your health by whatever means you need to, whether that's taking a drink between fights or letting a cough out just because you need it to not burn your throat.
Thanks to my teammates for taking care of all the enemies there. Wow.
Yeah, they were actually... It's interesting because sometimes, again, if we're talking about RNG, it's not just how enemies behave, it's also your teammates, because sometimes your teammates will be extremely passive, like infuriatingly so, and sometimes they will just bust out their moves and destroy the enemies completely. It's interesting. I think there's still a lot of research to be done in this game, and like how you want to position teammates and where you want to go yourself to like get the optimal fights.
Yeah,
but yeah, as you can see,
like as you can see, we're going to come down to like trial and error, isn't it? To a degree, and like the idea of potentially bringing along different teammates. Obviously, some of them you're routing in just because they're the easiest to get to, but do you think there's value in trying to figure out different ways to arrange them or other things that could potentially come in? Not obviously, some of it's down to just how the AI is interacting in any given moment, but again, like we mentioned earlier, the idea of making things more consistent.
Yeah.
Does that mostly just come down to trial and error, would you say?
A little bit. There's definitely some things that are. But there's also some really cool like routing stuff for like actual percentages. Like at the moment, having seen their work for it, Tom has been doing a lot of like. Tom is like a very, very like much a LED Infinite Wealth speedrunner. They're like one of the best. And LED. What they've been doing is getting damage values, EXP values, money values from every single fight, and they're at the point of like trying to figure out a route that does as little fights as possible. So kind of like the point that LAD got to of just this is the only fights we have to do. So yeah, there's a lot of like
Tom's
Excel
doing this for
stuff.
Infinite Wealth.
Yes. Yeah, we're at that point now.
Makes sense for something that's level gaining turn-based sort of things. But yeah, shout out to Mechanialist Tom. I believe is running the game at RPG Limit Break.
Correct. Yes.
Very cool.
it's really interesting. There's a friend of mine, Pandora, runs Eternal Darkness, which amazing game and amazing speedrun to those who haven't tried it yet. And she actually has a category she submitted for SGDQ of low spell, which is how you can get through the game while using the least spells possible. I really like stuff like that.
Yeah, same. I was gonna say, like, we've had like pandemonium in our community, like, for example, like go into the game code and figure out like one of the bosses in Yakuza Dead Souls, you want to aim for specific like parts of it that you wouldn't think to aim for because they take more damage for some reason. Big Nono has actually done a lot of like good science like that with something that like actually surprised us in regards to good old OG2 and the brass knuckles. Yeah. Okay, Dragon Engine. Okay, I appreciate the jump. What the heck was that?
Yeah, that just happens sometimes. You try to quick step, you try to sidestep, and you jump instead. It's wonderful. I love it.
The engine is fantastic. Of those of you wondering, if you're wondering why we're doing this, again, it's very guide and blueprinted. We have to do 2 matches here to unlock the next part of the story, and now we can go see Spade Tucker. That name. Every time.
Yeah, the well-known Tucker family of New York industrialists. Anyway, yeah, so basically this is, as Froob said, a lot like Gaiden. You kind of open up more and more of Mad Atlantis as you get higher ranks in the Coliseum. So we just have to do a couple more fights so we'd be able to access this area. We could have done them earlier, but it doesn't really save anything, and we have more crewmates now, so it's better to do these fights as late as possible.
There is a thing I need to do real quick. I've got to my upgrade before I went. So 3 health boosts, and one of the most important heat actions that we will do in this entire run, sidearm shuffle. This thing is ridiculously busted, as you will see later on. So what we're going to hope for... Yeah, go on. Thank you, Sanderson.
I was just going to say, basically we want to use our guns here, and also a lot of enemies in this fight have guns, and they can interrupt us, they can do a lot of damage. So by ducking into this cave, we do 2 things. A, we're a lot more safe from enemies shooting at us, and also this forces all the enemies coming to attack us into kind of a funnel. So they're all grouped together, and we get most of them with the same gunshot. So that's kind of strat we're going to see a lot in this run. Ooh. Oh, nice use of the cutlass.
Yeah, that worked out
really well. Nice.
Sometimes they're a bit too far away, but that actually really did work out. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Surprised this is a general rule, or particularly in light of how things have been going this evening?
General. Usually that doesn't go that well.
Got it.
Liney will try and hit us here, which is why we step back a little bit. You can see I'm just trying to get these
kind
off
of
the
gun funnel.
Thanks. Sometimes Management doesn't turn, despite the fact that I am like aiming elsewhere. I did not hit a grab for sure. My controller. I need to replace it at this point. If you're thinking that I hit that switch without attacking it, yes, I did. Your jumps have a hitbox.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
One,
really?
2.
Okay.
1, 2.
Okay.
1, 2.
I did not know that there, like, just a single jump hits buttons like that. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Okay, so I'm making other notes of things I'm learning here in terms of how to make getting into running more accessible and more consistent. One of them is have a controller that works reliably.
Yeah, that's very useful.
Duly noted.
What you want from a controller is that when you hit a button, it like transfers that input to the PC.
That is very useful.
Do that?
Yeah.
That's usually bad.
And then here to aggro them, or to activate them, I should say.
And hey, thankfully, Windows has built-in tools for that sort of thing. So very much in the ethos of the show, you don't have to install additional software to test to make sure your controller's working.
Yeah.
I love the fact he jumps over in the cutscene as well. I should run backwards here to the other door, but it's fine. You can just hit them up front and then go for the guys with the guns, ideally. Field enemy enemies are very annoying. We actually have the best way of dealing with them now, which is the actual chain hook. I should also be using a piece of furniture for this guy.
The hook is very good for blocking enemies. It's also, because gun enemies are so mobile, it's also a really good way of just
locking onto their
catching up to
location
them.
effectively.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Preventing them from getting away from you. Ooh, that's interesting.
That was nice. Yeah, that was actually really good. I didn't even mean to do that.
I should start doing that, because usually that heat move will not, like, it will leave them with a bit of health. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Thanks, Armstrong.
That is really unfortunate. Again, Dragon Engine stuff, weapons will just break randomly. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is another QTE we failed because we don't need heat here, and it's like 1 second faster to fail. Also, it's just funnier.
Yes. much.
This is a serious crime drama, by the way. I want to point that out.
So this one is X. As Big Nono said earlier, we know what the QT is ahead of time. There is never a QT in this game that's circle. So if you're in a failed QTE for any of the bosses, like, just hit circle. That's all you need to do. This is a cool fight. This is a slight gimmick fight. They only do it here because obviously they've added the jump button for the first time. Guess where the weak spot of the big old Yappy robot is?
Oh boy, right at the top.
Yep, on its back. I love the fact that they don't reuse this as a reuse this as a gimmick, but it's so nice to be able to do this. I'm going to summon my doppelgangers, and hopefully we're going to go to town real quick. So we won't be able to get it on the first strike. Hopefully, come on, keep going around. Okay. If you can keep going around, you can actually hit the weak spot again, but it's like really hard to do. But you just get it on the way down there.
And this may seem like a simplistic gimmick, but when I first played Star Fox 64 when I was a kid, I got stuck on the first boss forever, and it had the exact same weak spot. So
that first boss was actually quite hard.
Yeah, like it really. I don't think it hinted at the actual weak spot. So you're a kid, you haven't seen anything like that before.
I'll be honest, it took me a minute to remember because I was thinking of the first level of Star Fox 64 and I kept thinking of the alternate path.
Yes.
Yes. Chapter 3 of this game is so fun. Like, we've had like some really cool like set pieces, and like we're coming up to the end of the chapter where we'll take our second wellness break. But like we've got a couple of boss fights still to go. Like the same person twice, but both fights are massively different, which is what makes this cool. Don't worry about the cigarette butt. It was on the ground. It wasn't on the kid. Don't worry. He's a good kid. He's a very good kid. This is Rodriguez. We're here trying to look for some treasure, like TLDR. Rodriguez, I need to get heat back. Note to self, you've used up a little bit too much. Remember when I got a move called sidearm shuffle earlier? This is it. You do the chain hook into a heat action, and look at how much damage this is going to do. This is a 3 entire HP bars worth of damage. Now, hopefully I can chain stun Rodriguez enough here for him not to use his deadly attack. He usually rolls towards us, which is good. Good timing. Very nice. Good fight.
Excellent.
And interestingly, Rodriguez is one of only 2 bosses we fight in this game that don't have an HP gate, which is why we get the full benefit out of sidearm shuffle. Like, we actually get him almost all the way down with his HP.
Fun fact, with Rodriguez 2 coming up after this fight, he does have a HP gate, so we'll be doing that differently. I should have used pistol again there, actually. I think I had the time. Usually I don't, because usually I'm being like aggressively gagged up on because of the Gaia ring, but these guys actually weren't that aggressive this time. Or the cutlasses, actually. Who's alive? Oh, this guy. The guy that's hitting me, right? Sometimes even though, they're all yellow and I'm currently not in a yellow outfit, sometimes it's hard to pass what's going on in fights.
You tend to get tunnel vision in these big group fights.
Yes.
It's kind of hard sometimes to keep track of who's still around, who's still kicking.
Especially when you have
Rodriguez
lots of
takes
allies
seat.
yourself. It's easy to lose the forest with the trees. Such as it were.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, one heat move gets us immediately to Rodriguez's HP gate, which is like I don't know, 7/8 of that HP bar. It's like a very weird HP gate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like usually it's halfway or a full bar, but here it's just there.
Yeah, exactly.
Using the gun, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that right now. Thanks, Magma.
Yeah, because this animation, you can't really do anything about it. You can't do sidearm shuffle or anything else during this. So it's good to get a bit of extra damage here.
Oh, I missed.
That's
my fault. That's my fault. I had enough time.
Did we lose durability? Okay, doesn't matter.
I should have hit him with the barrel once there, actually. Oh. I should have dodged as well.
Ooh, he's being very bad.
Yeah,
okay, he didn't get to do a second deadly attack.
Yeah. It's my fault for messing up there. I should have hit him with the barrel once before I did the thing, but I also should have just heat attacked him in the first place. All right. This is a good time to take our second wellness break.
Okay, very good. While we do that, people can keep working on their dream matches in the chat. The likes of who would win between Taichi Suzuki, Onomichio, and Joryu. Something to chew on while we... Oh, well, there you go. Definitive answer from our runner. But we'll be back with more Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii in just a moment. So take the time if you need to get up, stretch, get something to eat, get something to drink, and come on back in just a moment. Welcome back to Out of the Box on the Games Done Quick Hotfix. We are guns blazing and hips deep into a run of Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii with Froob, and we're ready to get going again. So Froob, when you're ready, count us in and let's take it away.
Oh, all right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. So the nice thing is, these are going to be the last 2 chapters of the game. Yeah, there's, again, as we said earlier, chapter 2 is exceedingly weighted in how much it wants you to do. Oh, hey, we got Saejima now, by the way. That's kind of important, actually. Saejima is disgustingly good in this video game, as you could probably guess. Yeah, we're going to be bringing
maybe
in
a guy you want to have around.
Yeah,
just
like
possibly, yeah.
So much so that we're going to make him the leader of our second squad instead of Misaki. Misaki's staying in the squad because she has a gun and she's really good. But Saejima, his special skill is make everyone stronger. So, hey, Theo, bye-bye. And there we go. Mad Madness. Okay, so. This is Coliseum first, don't forget. I keep forgetting to go to Coliseum first. Actually, is it Coliseum first? No, it's Coliseum Fast Travel, that's right.
Yeah, you go to the luxury hotel now, and then this
is where we formulate our plan with Spade Tucker.
Yes. We go and ask him, hey, why is your name Spade Tucker?
I wish.
Well,
ignore the
never get a Spade.
Ignore the alcohol before. Apparently, he just gets bored. I don't know. But thankfully, there is a shop inside of here. Whoops, a daisy, where we can actually just like replenish all of our like healing items, and then we can just move on.
Yeah, you could get stamina royales there as well, but it's not worth the money. They're like obscenely expensive.
Yes.
There is
like
a fight boosting your stats to the point
this.
where having that kind of a heal is going to be particularly useful, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I get a good shot here. Sometimes I don't.
By the way, if you're wondering why Froob isn't fast traveling away from there, this is also one of those cases where the game disables fast travel to lock you into a fight.
Ooh,
the gun guy.
Yeah,
the gun guy
he's
is so
going to be
bad.
an issue. I'm just going to take care of Wells. Well.
Yeah, just to avoid getting the deadly attack.
Top that.
Yeah, these guys.
The best part is his name in this fight is Pelike. He only has 1 HP bar. There is a very, 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 very annoying gun enemy in the very final set piece whose name is Pelike. So,
yeah,
not a fan of enemies called Pelike.
Yeah, no relation, and yet.
No.
you gotta imagine. You gotta imagine he got really pissed in this fight. Like, that guy took me out in 2 punches. I'm gonna go get buff. And then he shows up in the finale and he's just jacked.
It's funny, we talk about like enemy names, and like there's one of the best enemy names in any Yakuza run, and we talked about this run a lot today, Kiwami 2. There is an enemy in the finale. He turns up like twice in the run, but he turns up in the finale. His name is No. I lost world record to No. Like, it's just No. And it's just the irony of losing your run to a guy that's just named No. I'd rather lose my run to a guy called Big No-No rather than just No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if it's any consolation, I've been rewatching the Bond movies, and the first one of those is Dr. No. has nothing to do with your story, but that's the only relevant thing I could think to say.
We're just chaining the nose together.
Yep.
Okay, so once again, one thing that the game has forgotten is that as part of the kind of villain's crew is basically the king and the queen of Atlantis and some guy called Mortimer. He's just there. He's just chilling. His model is actually and V8 is Baba from Yakuza 5, who's actually really cool because he's been doing a lot of like
oh, is it him really?
Of RGG. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
okay,
Mortimer is
that's
Baba.
Cool.
Ooh.
I did not know that.
I lost something there. Wow.
Every time I hear Mortimer's name, I just think Morty.
Actually, kind of bad. Natasha, please.
Oh man.
Yeah, you do not want to have to do this. Wow.
Yeah. So in beginner, you don't get crewmates knocked out quite like too often, but it can still happen if you get some bad luck in these fights.
Wow, that was really bad. Yikes.
Now this fight,
Ugh.
like honestly, one of the scariest fights in the run. I'm not joking here. These guys terrify me.
Hey, look, they all have guns.
Yep. You know how gun enemies are annoying to deal with? How about a literal boatload of them? Yeah, these guys have a lot of hyper armor. They have really nasty attacks. This is the fight that sold me on getting, even on beginner, getting health upgrades, because on base health, some of these guys can just one-shot you with their like charge-up attacks.
Ooh, that was lucky. If you're wondering why we're not using, like, say, the sharks or like the madness stuff, we're saving that for a specific fight.
Yeah, because the sharks make this fight more consistent, but they don't make it faster. And there's a fight coming up that the sharks make much, much faster.
Yes. Yeah, we really want to save it for that.
But yeah, once you're past that fight, this second fight isn't, I wouldn't say it's free, but it's much less scary than the first one.
Enemies that have mortar cannons like this are a massive pain in the backside, like casually. They are awful. Stop my movement again. Oof. I need
That's
to,
really nasty.
What I'm trying to do is like ram the end of them to do the ram damage, and then I'm in range to like, you know, actually hit them. I have no boosts right now either because I messed up my boosting as well. So I'm just gonna hit them with a little bit of residual damage and then.
This is just very unfortunate when this happens, because when we were talking about how enemy movement RNG really affects your time save, this is like boat movement RNG. They just
Right
got
on the
away,
edge.
and that was. This is very unlucky.
Yeah, we're gonna. We're just gonna do this.
Going for the rocket. Yeah,
You
understandable.
absolutely, positively need a boat destroyed. You might as well do it yourself.
Yeah.
Funny enough, there is a fight later on in the run where, like, there is a rare chance to use the rocket launcher. I'm just mad. So these enemies are actually called Hangman in previous, like, RGG games. Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, God bless them, RGG. There's some assets they love reusing assets in general, but there's some assets they really love reusing, and the Hangman is just one of them.
Yeah.
You see them in 6, you see them in Judgment, Gaiden,
Infinite Wealth.
I think we had them. Oh, that too, yeah.
Alright, so now that we're done with that, we can now properly challenge Mortimer to a fight. So we're gonna go do that, right? No. Remember when we said pacing? Nice fight, Spawn. Yeah, remember when we said pacing earlier? Yeah.
I know writers who use pacing, and they're all cowards.
Yeah, we're just
the
gonna
game-
do more stuff.
Yeah. At this point, you go to the like reception guy at the Coliseum, and he says, "You know, I don't. Even though you have lasers and the evil sharks from hell, I don't really like your chances against a guy called Mortimer, who looks like he plays bass for like a Z-grade blues band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you off to Hawaii to get a cannon that will make it possible for you to stack up to him."
Which is
So that
worse
is what
than
we're doing right now.
most of what you've got outside of the base cannons themselves. The only good thing about
Yeah.
these like fire cannons is that you can like burn enemy ships. But why don't you burn them when you can just hit them with a laser?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the focus light of a laser is capable of burning things too. Maybe not over the kind of lengths that you're going at there, but still.
Yep.
Again, when we talk about learning scientific principles.
Oh, by the way, the person who has the cannon is someone we recognize. Hey, Alex K.
Oh, no.
Oh, I have not seen this guy in a while.
Who's running? What is happening to my
Our
enemies?
nemesis, Keith.
Excuse me, please. Come here. Thank you, Keith. Bye, Keith. Again, he has a HP gate, so we need to do 2 heat attacks. I don't want to take care of too many enemies, because I would like to, actually take care of some of these enemies to build up my heat, so I don't have to menu for a heat item. Okay, Malone. I hear you do some okay music, but unfortunately, I need you out of the way. Is he? Yep, yeah, he is. Respect it.
Was that a Post Malone reference in the year of our Lord 2025?
It was, yeah.
Just checking.
We have now concretely dealt with Keith. But the joke is we also
never going to see that guy again.
Yeah, definitely not in the next 2 minutes. That was the 5th Keith fight for those who are keeping count at home.
Yeah, Kuze from Yakuza 0, one of the best villains in anything. You fight him 5 times. For this game, they decided, no, Keith needs 6. You can't show all that Keith has to offer in just 5 fights.
Shame. Yeah, if you have an enemy whose name begins with K, you're probably going to fight them a couple of times.
Yep. But yeah, these groups of enemies, there's a lot of weak enemies there, and they're also very grouped up, so the gun works really, really well. There is one gun mini-boss here, which is, very annoying, but okay,
nice.
Okay, that takes him down.
If you're thinking they're shooting really fast, that's because of the Gaia ring. Hey, look.
But yeah, this is where we use the violin, because again, we have a lot of mini-bosses here. One of them has a gun. There's a lot of other gun guys. This is a fight where you really, really want to do a lot of, very big AoE damage, I guess. Oof, the deadly attack. Unfortunate. But yeah, after the sharks, you only have to get rid of these 3 guys, and usually at a very, very reduced HP.
Take care of you before you deadly again. I knew they wouldn't drop their guard there, so that's why I went for the grab, because, yeah, with enemies in this game, they actually hold their guard for a very long time, because the game kind of wants you to, either grab them or, break their guard. The Sea Dog Star does have a guard break with Circle, but it's very hard to combo with that into anything else. Keith has a friend. His name is Irma. That's not the guy I want to hit. Thank you, Majima. Okay, and he hit me. Hold on, please. Side arm shuffle. There we go. That's what we're after.
Yeah, Keith doesn't have... Yeah. Keith has an HP gate, by the way, but Urima doesn't. So he's a much better target to use the sidearm shuffle on. So now, after Urima is taken care of, Froob is going to get Keith down to his HP gate, which is halfway through this health bar.
Okay. I'm just going to go hang out at the pool.
The only weapons are these tables here, which are really, really far away, but one heat move with these will just finish the fight after the HP gate.
Yeah, we have enough heat items here that, using a heat item and then using, as Big Nono said much earlier, the dagger stab animation on the hand onto the wall is also really good to get into that halfway point. Or if obviously you've got him to, that low enough HP that he goes into his invulnerable phase and he's next to a wall, you can also use that there. But, it's sometimes a little better just to run after that chair. Should have turned earlier and I would have had this. Jack, what are we doing here?
This is one of those situations where you're tempted to maybe use the rocket launcher, but I think even then that wouldn't be enough damage because the rocket launcher we have right now is very weak.
Yes. You can upgrade it and do more damage, but we're saving that money for something a little bit more special. In a little bit, actually.
The rocket launcher is very weak. It's not a phrase I was expecting to hear this evening, but...
Especially considering rocket launchers in Lad and Infinite Wealth's runs are exceedingly overpowered.
Indeed.
Look, rocket launchers are okay, but I mean, it's no bicycle, you know?
True.
It's true.
I've got a rocket launcher that launch bikes.
The deadliest weapon known to man.
Oh, an RPB, a rocket-propelled bicycle. Very good. We'll get the boys at RGG on the phone and see what we can whip up.
I think they would like that. Oh, I didn't respect Jack. I'm actually not doing well in this fight at all. Like, I barely dealt with any of their leaders before the thing went. I focused too hard on Jack. Respect it. It's a slow one, but respect it.
And I do think if you have to... This is a conclusion I've come to from New Game Plus. It's actually better if you can only do one to focus on Jack than focus on the small guys, because the animation of the special move is like 4 seconds, but if you let Jack go without getting hit, you can lose like 10, 20 seconds.
Yep.
So I think that was the correct decision in that case.
Back to Madlantis, where we're definitely going to fight Mortimer now, right?
Yeah, done with the distractions, just go to the plot point.
So back to the entrance to the Colosseum, that's where we accept the fight. Except we now have an audience with King Raymond, who like is one of the people that like actually like is like the leader of Madlantis here. You're supposed to go to the King's Castle, but we always go here. This walkway right here has no fight spawns on it, which is really, really good. It also has less stairs to run up.
Yeah, it's also a shorter run. It's like, I think it's 7 seconds faster or something like that than going to the Queen's Castle station.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. We do have a fight in here, which is a surprise. We're going to use gun, and hopefully everyone gets together. They didn't earlier, which is a pain. Again, if I dodge the side. I'll do for now. Dodge you.
Yeah, they weren't very cooperative.
Oh, not this time, sadly. I should have just changed to Sea Dog to shoot that guy. Like this. Bang. He's on 1 HP.
Nice.
You see Raymond up there. Raymond is voiced in the English dub and face modeled by Samoa Joe. Those who don't know.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
So we're going to go now challenge Mortimer, right?
Yeah. No more distractions.
Ooh,
It's
I don't
time.
know about all that now. That would be too clean in the pacing department. What else have you got for us?
What?
Well,
that word you said there, pacing. What's that again?
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
funny you should say that. Because it's not quite time to fight Mortimer just yet, and I wish I was joking. We can now reuse the fast travel again. Going over here is obviously much faster for fast travel. Going to the Colosseum where we go and accept the fight against Mortimer. However, we start to hear rumblings that there might be a member of our crew that is turning traitor onto Mortimer's side. So we're going to have to deal with that. And another fight spawn. I'm getting very, very, very unlucky with my fight spawns right now.
One of the stars is a traitor.
So we go and speak with Jason. We get some backstory between Jason, Masaru, Mortimer, and like what their crew used to be like before we turned up with our amnesia. And as you can see, Masaru's left the crew, which is it was a pain in the backside for the old route because we had Masaru in our machine gun slot, and we'd have to remember to put him back in that, otherwise we'd be down to one machine gunner in the next part. But he's in one of our boarding squads right now, so he's not going to affect any of the next upcoming fights, which is nice. If we don't like put him back in, so we're not going to put him back in. Thankfully, this like hitbox for this area is massive, so it's just an excuse to get like a Masaru refight with like a really cool intro. And I don't think many of the GDQ audience will know. If you're looking at Masaru here, he's an actual real life comedian. His name is Ryuji Akiyama. Yes, it's very ironic.
No, you're making that up.
I'm not. I genuinely am not. Like, I genuinely am not. I didn't do the hit first. It's fine. Just hit him a little bit. Just building on the heat, that's all. So, he actually, if you have, like, Amazon Prime, there is a good series from Hitoshi Matsumoto called Documental. He turns up in a good couple of seasons there. So if you think you've seen him before, you might have seen him in that. But yeah, no, his name genuinely is Ryuji Akiyama.
It's
so
amazing.
Apt. It's so apt.
It's like when that guy whose name was his last name is Bowser, he became CEO of Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those who are a little less familiar, Shun Akiyama is one of the main supporting characters and occasionally also a protagonist in the Like a Dragon series.
And then RGG forgot he existed for a few years.
Unfortunately.
So just making sure all my heat items are fully up to date. And now it's time to actually go fight Mortimer properly, definitely this time.
Hey. Good. Now the pacing's been completely wrecked. It's time to have a fight.
Yeah. 2 text boxes, my dude. You know this already.
It is like you'll see runners of this game. You'll see many of us kind of waffle a bit in these parts, and that's because there's just so many different objectives and directions it sends you in. So it's really difficult to like, keep stock of where you need to go the next time. You might say, well, just look at your notes. That'll tell you where to go. But looking at notes, I don't do that. No thanks.
Yeah. Or be like me, write the wrong notes. That's how
That's even better.
I suppose
That's why you don't read the notes, because they're always wrong.
I suppose you run the risk of doing that if you write notes. If you don't write notes, you never have to worry about that.
That's a better ship fight. That's
stuff.
much better.
Nice.
That was really good. That was really quick.
So, remember when we said we were holding them sharks? This is why we're holding them sharks. Did you run forward a little bit at the start of this fight, or did you just let rip with the sharks?
Just let rip. I only run forward if I'm missing a bit of madness, which can happen.
Yeah. So you cannot change your fighting style when we're using the madness gauge of said fighting style. So like when the sharks are out, you can't change the mad dog, and when the doppelgangers are out, you can't change the sea dog. That's going to be important for the last fight. She-Man's gone?
No, he got rid of that guy. Unfortunately, there was another squad leader, but he like took care of the one.
Goodness,
that was next to you.
Stop that HP regen. Oh, they. Listen, Saejima, I love you dearly, bud, but you're not really pulling your weight right now.
Yeah, we were praising him a lot earlier, and he really is not living up to it. The nice thing is
Minami's fire attack there hitting the exact frame that we could damage that guy, meaning I didn't have to do my deadly attack.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if you start your counter, you have to finish it, but other enemies can finish the enemies during your counter animation. And yeah, Minami is just great. He's so good as a crewmate.
So this is not battle as a pirate. I'm gonna concentrate with 2. 1 counter. 1 counter. Oh, I missed. Never mind. My flow in this fight is now gonna be wrong. Yeah. So you can do a strong attack, counter, strong attack, counter, strong attack to be able to get out of this fight pretty quickly. I messed up my flow there in the middle, so I just had to wait for him to attack. If you try and attack Mortimer when you're up close, he will always counter. Even on beginner. But yeah, if his face looks familiar, yeah, that is the same face actor as Baba. Same VA as well. He's been doing like out of work work with RGG to promote the games in Japan ever since like Yakuza 5, which is like really cool. Like I really like that fact.
Yeah, that's really nice. I gotta say, it's nice that RGG seems to work a lot with the same voice actors, because we know that like a lot of other games.
It's deadly. Hey, that helps.
Very nice, very nice.
Fight is over. Wow, I don't think I did enough damage. Yeah, that was a good fight.
This was a good morning.
Just sound really surprised. I was like, oh, that was a good fight. Wow.
It's always surprising when anything goes right in this game.
Yeah.
All that build up, and there Morty went.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of those boss fights that they build this guy up through the entire game, and he's kind of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of forgot about him because he is relegated to the side content. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So the reason why we're doing all of that is so that we can safely get Spade Tucker every time. Spade Tucker out of Madlantis. You'll get to see him in a second here. We are going to do one thing real quick. We're going to prepare to sail. We're going to change equipment. We're going to go... It is here, right? Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And we're going to change our lasers out for energy cannons. Got that equipment. Good. And then we're going to go to Daily Island.
So as we've seen, the lasers are really good. They do like a lot of damage in a short amount of time, but that short amount of time can be a problem in a sense that we'll talk about when we get to the next fight. And also, they have really, really short range, as like you've seen multiple times that through like moved a ship moved a bit away and just yeah. So for those two reasons, we need the energy cannons for the fight coming up. We can't in this category. The lasers are just not good enough.
Yep.
For just a little something that I think you might enjoy if you choose to run and show this game off more in the future. Consider a different way or like a different accent in which to say Spade Tucker every time you do. That'll really let you luxuriate in how ridiculous the name is.
There he is, Spade Tucker, by the way. Look at the guy. That'll be for you when you get into SGDQ.
Right, all side stories. I'll be
I'll do the Sean Connery thing.
Days.
Spade Tucker.
This is the fight. It's a very unique fight. It's a very cool fight. Yeah, Infinite Wealth is not the only one that has a squid fight. This is a good reuse of assets. So you might notice that I'm not going too hard on the squid. If you look at the top, I'm using the UI to see where it will go. It actually went one of the furthest places away it could actually go to. So that's frustrating. So what I'm doing is doing a little bit of damage to the left tentacle. Just going to hit it with this, and then
you have to destroy... And you have to destroy both tentacles before you can hit the body. And what you saw right there, the damage on... Because the damage of the energy cannons is in bursts, we actually have time to go from one tentacle to the other. With the lasers, it's very quick, so by the time you finish off with one tentacle and try to get to the other, the lasers might run out. And also you have to be a bit too close with the lasers, so yeah, you kind of have to go with the energy cannons here.
I really didn't think that I had the time to hit him with the other cannons, but I actually did. Yeah, as you can see, we're trying to like hit him and then spin around to get the energy cannons as well. Do a little bit of damage on in the time as well with the other thing. If you're wondering, ramming damage doesn't work. That's a shame you went down quite early there. But that's actually a good spot for me.
Yeah, a good squid fight is like...
Nice. Because this stops him from running away as well.
And a good squid fight is 3 cycles. You can almost, on New Game Plus, you can almost get 2 cycles, but I still have not seen anyone actually get it.
This will be a 4.
Something we need to work on. Like, we need to work on to figure out how we can do it. Because it does save a lot of time, as you see, like, waiting for him to pop back up and getting rid of the tentacles again. Saving a cycle is a big time save.
And you can see that he also regens as well, which is why I'm not like going too hard.
You know, it's at a time like this I'm reminded... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, he has this one attack where he can only like get one tentacle out and then he'll disappear, which is really bad, so I'm glad I didn't see that there, because that was a really bad fight.
At a time like this that I'm reminded that the framing story for this whole game is Majima telling you a story. So if anything ever doesn't seem to quite make sense or line up with what you know about reality, that's just Majima embellishing things.
He specifically tells it to Ichiban.
Of all characters.
Like, who doesn't believe it? And also, there's a bunch of cameras there, and when they ask, like, where are you going to upload this? He just says, oh, those cameras aren't recording. I just put them in here just for fun. Which is a very Majima thing to do.
Okay, so this is the point of no return. Let's see this through. So we're now stuck into the finale stuff. There's the one thing I really love about this game is the set pieces in this game are fantastic. We got some big ones coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
Beginning with the Queen's Armada, the Queen's Fleet. So I'm going to be going past, and as I go past, I'm going to be hitting them with the energy cannons. Ramming you, and then hopefully taking you out with the machine guns real quick. Yep. And then turning and getting the other 2 that are over here. I'm a bit too far away from them than I usually am, so that's unfortunate. We're gonna hit this one on the right, and then hopefully dash forward enough to hit you. Beautiful.
Nice.
And yes, the Queen's ship is a cruise liner. I love that so much.
Also, you'll notice it says Michelle on the ship itself with 2 L's, even though Michelle's name is spelled with 1 L, so RGG, please patch this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the takeaway from all this after 2 hours and 19 minutes is that, not unplayable.
Yep, exactly.
So sorry.
0 out of 10, -5 stars.
I do not care about being on fire. Yes, I do. I'm actually kind of dying.
Yeah.
Maybe I do actually.
Like if you're unlucky in this fight, you can lose the ship. This on professional difficulty is a really scary fight.
Gosh,
Yeah. One thing to say about the ship stuff that we haven't gone into that is really important for professional, when you go onto the deck and use those smoke screens, you actually get extra defense, which is utilized genuinely in professional. Stop dying.
But yeah, this is our last big deck battle, and it's like this is one of those fights where we get all of our crewmates in. So very large scale combat here.
There you go. He's red day, he's 1 HP, he's in his deadly, that's why. Good.
Okay.
Respect it, respect it.
Yeah, I was trying to see where that would go.
I was gonna say, I don't know where. I'm gonna like believe my teammate will deal with them, which thankfully they did. Nice, good change.
Yeah, but somewhat misplaced trust a lot of the time because
Yes.
there were 5 of them, and one of them was like, oh, maybe I should hit this guy.
If you saw at the start of that, I did actually go towards it, so I was just like, you actually gonna do anything here? Again, going up, and then mostly to my left. The main enemy here has a shield, which thankfully we don't have to deal with him. That's Jason for not letting that guy do his deadly attack against me.
Jason is also, I would say, one of the best AI partners. Even in the early game, he does a lot of work.
I think that was Cypher actually took care of the last guy. I can't tell where anyone is right now. It was those two. You do have a mini map, which is somewhat useful, but it's like really kind of zoomed in for this bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, remember A bear? Here's B bear. And A tiger.
Oh my.
Yeah, tigers, bears, and squids. Oh my.
Yep. And
Shooting the... Unsurprisingly, yes, the bear can kill you. Be very careful. Thank you, Minami.
Well, I hadn't really thought about it like that, but when you put it that way.
Oh, that guy's doing his deadly attack. We're just gonna be careful of that. Hello, tiger. It's just it's 2. It's fine.
Well, hey, the process of respecting the first attack helped you avoid the second attack, so that was lovely.
Thankfully, I should have enough in my madness gauge now, just in time, so that we can shark this fight. Because this fight is also... No, I don't. Oh, you can't use items in here either. Anyway, let me just hit some enemies. That'll get me...
You can do a bit of damage and then go into sharks.
Now, downside is, you're not invulnerable when you're doing this, as you can see.
Keep getting hit.
Yeah, you can get interrupted, but you can die.
Which Gallardo not taking any damage.
I was just thinking the same thing. Technically, being defeated counts as an interruption.
Yeah. Everyone I need to take care of is currently in this corner. Not gonna get in time. Because he's deadlying. That's a shame. I should have grabbed the barrel and done the heat attack, especially as I'm like over here. Thankfully, here's the thing. Their special, thank you, their special and my special, which you use on up D-pad, interrupts any deadly attack, which enables you to take out the enemy. It's really nice. It's very situational. It's very nice.
Yeah, the D-pad up abilities, they cancel all animations, and they also do another thing that I forgot. Mostly they cancel animations. That's like the important thing.
Yep. With the special properties you've got from Noah and Goro, they get you a nice little HP regen on command and also a attack buff, which is nice. I don't like keep saying buff as boof, because it's not boof, it's buff. It doesn't have O's in it. I want to say that's because I'm sick, but it's not. I'm actually pronouncing it boof. I really like my attack boofs.
It's the Canadian pronunciation, I believe.
Yeah, I was thinking a bit French Canadian, something like that.
Probably gets dealing with the gun guy because I was about to go over and deal with him. Usually you want to like take care of the ads before like we fully get Shiaki down. There's only one left, so I'm just going to take him to the face 2 at this point. Kind of a bad getting hit by him too many times. I quite like Shiigaki in this game. I like Shiigaki's actor. Again, he actually does a good job as Majima in the Amazon Prime show. Like, again, anytime Majima is in a piece of media, like the stage play, the Takeshi Miike movie, the live action, like an Amazon show, Majima always steals the show every time. I don't know how they manage to do it correctly every time, but they do. It's good.
There's something to the idea. I feel like there are a lot of actors who can tell the story of getting roles that really let them absolutely like let it rip with just raw emotion, even if it's somebody like Majima where the character is all of the emotions different from scene to scene.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of actors really enjoy sinking their teeth into. So I'm not surprised to hear you say, wow. I was a little surprised on that.
Yeah, Shigeki does a lot of damage in this fight. Also, since we kind of were very critical of the TV show, I will say I think the Takashi Miike movie is really good. Like, I love that movie. It's complete nonsense if you haven't played the games.
Yeah, it is.
But if you have, it's a good time. It's good fan service.
They do the Shangri-La and the batting center stuff so well in that.
Yes.
The only thing that they don't do well in that is Nishiki's hair.
Yeah.
How did they start it like that? How much hair gel do they use?
Yeah, it's... how do you do that to a mullet? I have no idea.
Wait, what I want to do... Oh, you can't grab that chair. I was going to say, I want to grab that chair to do the heat action, but... At this point... He behaved quite well, actually. Yeah, he behaved really well. I should have used the chair as the heat action, but I got lucky. So at some point, Majima has gotten his memory back, and he kind of let it slip a little bit. Saijima picked up on it. But speaking of cool stuff, yes, this remix is amazing, and it is a remix of Majima's theme. Good hit. So this bit's
pretty much
funny. This bit's great. So here's the door. Hey, why isn't the door opening? Why is it just locked like this? Oh, bud. Yeah. Yeah, just to bring on the point even more that Saitama is one of the strongest characters in this entire universe. And I'm not right now.
But does he have ghost sharks?
He doesn't, but I don't think he needs the ghost sharks. Thanks for telling me I was about to get shot again.
The ghost shark. Saijima is the OG bear fighter.
That's
the first time we saw him fight a bear is Yakuza 5, Saijima.
Yeah. And he does that, so we appreciate it. You can hit this door from anywhere, even with like a gun attack, and he will go and hit that door. And in this time, we can actually go and grab this pipe, which is really nice. Let's see if I attack the wrong person again, because I've been doing that a lot lately. It's not something I should be proud of.
It happened to me a little.
Oh, cool.
There you go. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's gonna take him down. Yep. And then I'm just gonna get to phase 2 like this. Why am I being shot in the cutscene? Excuse you? Calm down.
That's cheating. Flag on the play.
10-yard penalty. Majima with a gun. Which is exactly what we're about to do now. So this summons in backup. So we're gonna do what Big Nono said earlier in a couple of fights and funnel all the enemies backwards. Where's the door? Where's the door? We got the door.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. That's
remember to move slightly to the right. I've also got a bit too far down here, so it's gonna require them to move forward a bit. Okay, I'm really glad that Naomi and Saijima are coming with me because that means all the enemies will come as well. That's perfect.
Yeah,
there's a couple left on this side, which is a little unfortunate, but this is still good. Should have used the barrel heat action here, actually. Saijima, that's my bro.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, RGG really love the whole, they really love the whole make the city or new area into a set piece kind of thing. Which I'm glad they did for Mad Atlantis here. It's really cool. You don't have to full charge this one, which is nice. Also, if you're wondering, every time Majima or an ally, not Majima, glows red, that's for them to do a special joint heat attack. In this game, you have control over Blade Kill, the move that gives me the most fear in LED speedruns. That was not the best hit I've ever done with the pistol there. Usually you can get all but 2 or 1 enemy left alive. That was free, so that was unfortunate. Right, and with that, we have 1 big long set piece left to go.
Very good.
And left to do but
this is
win.
the last stretch.
Well, that fight might have been just a little bit unfortunate, but what is quite fortunate is that Summer Games Done Quick 2025 is coming up real soon. It'll be live in Minneapolis from July 6th to the 13th, and registration is still open. You can register to attend by May 26th by using !SGDQ in the chat, or by visiting gamesdonequick.com, or for short, gdq.gg for more info.
Bad hit on my part there. It's unfortunate. I don't want to go too far in here, but I am going to get pushed in by my allies here, so I'm just going to hit from the doorway.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, you can funnel enemies into this doorway and it does help somewhat, but because of the 2 mini-bosses we have here, we're very, very tanky.
Ooh, wow.
Man.
I'm just going to make sure I don't die here.
But yeah, because those guys are really tanky, it's not always... It doesn't work quite as well as it does in other fights. So you need to be a bit more careful here.
I do like my, 8-9 allies that are just standing around Cameron right now doing, nothing. That helps. Thanks, York. You're also pushing me away from him.
Just like, go, do it.
No, Kaicho, you got this.
You can help a little bit. I know we're the protagonists and all, but, you will get pushed forward here by your allies, which is a shame, so I'm just going to, fire off a gunshot real quick and hope that, yep. This is, not great. I should just go in the room at this point, I think.
Yeah, the nice thing is sometimes the mini-bosses will follow you into the small room that has a barrel in it, and you can use that to attack them. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen, so yeah, here we are. Okay, that's one down.
I should have taken the barrel for heat action here. I tried to dodge and I did not dodge at all. Ah, the good old sledgehammer move. I love that. Interrupts you constantly.
That one is with us at least as far back as Yakuza 4.
Okay. There's blade kill.
No.
It's fine. I get to use it. It's fine. This usually prioritizes the stronger enemies, which is nice, but I don't think it is this time. Did for that guy, at least.
Oh.
Just a blade kill. Side jump, bro. Brother.
We've been praising Saijima to high heaven. Like, he's so good, we have to put him in the party. And
He got a big head about it.
Yeah.
Game, I am trying to hold a triangle here, so I don't know what's going on with that.
That's a dragon engine.
The enemies coming in the room. Shigaki's blocking them. Side jump. Actually, that helps. That actually pushed me into a good position.
You shall not pass.
Yeah, go on, hit me then. Nope. So ideally, we'd be able to hit Pelike with a actual weapon here, but he will always run away when we get close, unless he's really focused on somebody else. So going after him here like this is very good. Can you just keep track of him? Was he about to shoot me? Because I got the message. Oh, there's someone still behind me. That's why. Hey, bud. Well, thanks for guarding. Sorry, no. Sorry, no. I messed up with one heat action already. I'm not doing yours. Besides that, heat action is really funny, but it's so long. That's the downside to a lot of heat actions in this game, is the heat actions are ridiculously long.
Yeah, it's long, and in Masaru's case, just kind of insultingly bad. It does so little damage.
Yeah. Missed.
But yeah, this is almost... We have 2 more group fights before the last boss. This guy right here, Pawa, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Either way...
That gets everybody.
Yeah, he's nasty. He's very, very aggressive in this fight. Once Fruit whittles his health down enough, he'll just use a heat move here from one of the weapons.
Good enough. Gee, I might be able to just hold it.
Nope. That
Don't hold it. Don't hold it. Never hold it.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Because the heat move is slow. Doing a couple of normal attacks would be enough, but yeah, he got into this deadly, so unfortunate.
So I went looking for a pronunciation, and instead I found a couple of definitions of Paoa, which boil down to either unlucky or stinky.
Yeah, that sums up how I've been playing.
It sums up that fight really well, I would say. Just he's not the worst mini boss in this finale by any means, but he can be very annoying.
Notice how all the gun enemies are really aggressive because of the Gaia ring. I don't want to be in the sky with this guy right now, but actually it was working out a little bit until I got shot.
One of your doppelgangers seems to have taken the aggro of the gun enemy for you.
A little bit. The problem is, like, even the enemies like the cutlasses and stuff, like, a lot of them also have guns as like a secondary weapon, so a lot of them can also just shoot you. No deadly. Thank you. And respect. Actually thought my deadly would finish him off. Don't mind me jumping through doors. Enough. All right,
Actually, I think
boss.
double jump might be better than slide for the doors, I think.
Potentially, because considering you get a bit of distance. All right, the boss that was scary in the past. It should be a formality at this point.
Yeah, and it mostly is. I will say, this is the boss we mean can one-shot you. Like, he has a specific attack where if it hits you, it's just an immediate death.
I don't want to get full drunk, even though it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, when you're at full drunk, which is, you see the 4 in the upper left corner, when that's a 6, that's full drunk, and it hinders your movement a bit, which isn't a huge deal at this point, but it's still, you know, it's unnecessary, and we would prefer to avoid it if possible.
Probably a bit late to use this at this point, so done enough damage. I'll do a little bit of damage to build up my heat, and then, yeah, you'll see that his HP is no longer going down. I waited a bit too long to use that. As you've already guessed, we have a whole bunch of items that just get all that heat back, so we're just going to continually use sidearm shuffle at this point. Much like with most Yakuza games, there is a period where you can't use another heat action after you use the first heat action, so in that time we can do a little bit of damage towards Raymond, build up a little bit of heat so that we don't have to like use as many items. There is a couple of things like in this part where he will actually go into his actual like stuff that we do have to be a little careful of. Thank you, Raymond. So he will go into like his deadly attack, but as you saw in the previous fight that we were in here, the weapons are still there, like all the pipes and stuff like that. He dodged backwards. I was gonna say if I could get the jumper off, that would have been really good. He is like not wanting to stay still. Never mind.
Oh man, he is. Yeah.
I was gonna say he's like, this is why I don't want to use sidearm shuffle again, is because he's like very close to last. Like we're gonna do that to get our heat back here. The failing that QTE and passing that QTE are the exact same amount of time. One of those very rare QTEs when like literally nothing changes if like you do or don't do it.
Yeah, the only thing that changes is if you succeeded, you get again your half heat bar back. So obviously very good for this run.
Yes. Do you pass or fail that in New Game Plus?
Pass, because even though you get your heat refunded constantly, it has to refund you less, and you don't lose any damage for it, or any time for it.
These sidearm shuffles aren't enough to finish this fight, so we're going to do a little bit of damage in between.
Yeah, although I've opted to just do a third sidearm shuffle, because again, I died here in the past and had to do the entire fight again.
Yep.
In future runs, I'll probably have to be less of a coward just to save more time, but...
Could be it. Time's coming up when he's dead. There's no end QT, unlike most bosses. Yeah, I think that's time.
And that's GG.
Hey, GG.
Weirdly, unlike most, or if not all Yakuza LAD games, there is no final QTE. He's just gone. He's just done. He's out. Peace. Same.
Apparently, Goro just doesn't play around in that way.
Yeah. We won. it's like a weirdly anticlimactic whole part to this, considering, you know, and most like RPG games have like a really cool like ending kind of, you know, like sequence of just like big long QTE cool like, you know, choreography. Now here it's just you're done. no second phase. He's got like 12 HP bars. You're done.
It's also a very kind of random choice for who the final boss gets to be. Kind of like another Yakuza game where the final boss doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
oh man, I wonder what Yakuza game that could be. Fine. My cough from my illness is really weird today.
Yep.
Well, very good, friends. Fruit, please feel better soon. But beyond
Thank you.
if you'd like to shout out any communities, anywhere that people can find you, anything else, now is a wonderful time to do so.
I'm glad you said communities because I keep forgetting after I do every single run in any Yakuza game anywhere. Yeah, we have a big, obviously, Yakuza Speedrun community. You can find the Discord pages on at SRCs if this run looks appealing, which I hope it does. I hope you want to run it yourselves. If you want some shorter Yakuza runs, we got those too. We got some really nice ones. If you want some longer ones, I don't know why you would. We have Yakuza 5. It is what it is. But if ever you want to do like a Yakuza run, these days especially, like, there's a lot of people willing to help out with the runs with like advice, with like, you know, what you should do with resources and stuff like that. Really well written guides and stuff like that. We don't have a like well written guide for this just yet because obviously it just came out and we're just making sure that we have everything like, you know, solidified in the route itself. Really cool ending sequence, by the way. But yeah, most people in the Yakuza community, or if not all of them, are like very, very nice people and want to like actually genuinely help out. If this doesn't look like
none of the ones here, but most of the other ones.
Thank you for the important clarification.
I'm old, I'm dying, I've had enough. No, yeah, like everyone's like really happy to help. If this run doesn't look like your thing, or maybe you want to do one of the turn-based games, we have a lot of help in regards to those. So yeah, shout out to the Yakuza Run community for once, because I keep forgetting to do that after these runs.
Okay, good. And Big No-No, anything for or from you?
Yeah, just gonna reiterate what Froob said. This is still a run that's very much being routed, that's still having a lot of work done on it. This is my first time. I've been wanting to do this with other Yakuza games, but this is the first time I've actually gotten in on the ground floor of routing a Yakuza game. If that sounds appealing to you, we've been doing a lot of work. Myself, Froob, Metza, Garlic, Firelight, Peace Color, a lot of other runners in the community. There's constant discussion, constantly sharing like things we've found. It's very, very fun. So the runs keep getting pushed, keep getting optimized. And yeah, it's a good time to get in. Like Froob said, there's also a lot of other runs to choose from. If you're into Yakuza at all and you'd like to try and speedrun one of these games, I can guarantee you will find at least one that is in your kind of wheelhouse.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much to the both of you. That was a terrifically fun time. You know, got to see ups and downs, got to see how a run that's still being routed comes together. No, genuinely, that's a lot of the fun of watching runs, especially in a live, no reset environment. The kind of things that turn into what I affectionately call content are a really fun part of just how a run goes, especially when it's still coming together. Running games that are newer, that are still being figured out, is actually something that's very close to my heart. Most of the things that I run, I started in kind of a similar way. But again, thank you so much for being on the show this evening. It's been a wonderful episode of Out of the Box and terrific to have you here.
Thank you for having us, and also I just want to say thank you quickly to you all for allowing Big Nono to jump on comms at the last minute with me being sick, and also to thank Big Nono for jumping on comms as well.
Absolutely. We always prioritize
Had a great time.
Yeah. So thank you again for watching Out of the Box. I will leave you with a hui ho, which says instead of goodbye is until we meet again. But please don't go anywhere just yet, because we have an episode of Creature Corner coming up after the break, and I understand it's going to be a hell of a show. Be well.